It's time for Twit This Week in Tech. Sad news to begin the show. Our great friend, my mentor, John C. Dvorak, passed away. We'll talk about John some memories with Larry Magid, Devindra Hardawar, and Alan Malventano. Then we'll talk about a totally sci-fi AI hack. We'll talk about why hard drives and memory are so expensive. And maybe a little review of the Odyssey. I don't know. Twit is next.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Twit, This Week in Tech, episode 1094, recorded Sunday, July 26th, 2026. Rest in peace, Buzzkill. It's time for Twit, the show where we talk about the week's tech news with the best, smartest people in the business, and I am thrilled to have these three on with me right now. Larry Magid, good friend, dear friend. Okay, Larry, I asked my AI to give us a bio, I said, give me some juicy stuff no one knows.
Okay.
So we all know you're president and CEO at Connect Safely. And by the way, congratulations, you're now doing radio hits all over the New York, on the big cities.
Yep.
Where do you look for it? Like, how do you know? What does it say?
Well, the best way is to go to connectsafely.org and you can find our podcast, or just look for either the Connect Safely report, which is my 1 minute radio hit, or if you want to hear me longer, you look for Doing Tech Right, which is our long form podcast.
Oh, nice.
So we're on all the podcast platforms, or if you happen to live in Washington, Chicago, Boston, New York, Fargo, I don't know, and a bunch of other places.
You got the big cities.
We're all over. We're in a lot of small markets too.
I could never get.
And we're doing it without CBS News. That's the part that's amazing, is that we were on CBS News Radio and it disappeared May 23rd. And the affiliate manager called me up and said, hey, the stations want to keep running you. I'm out of a job, but you're not. And so I'm now sending it directly to the stations. I had to learn how to use FTP and all sorts of ways to get it to them, relearn.
We used to send reel-to-reel tapes, and then later we would send discs to the radio station.
I tried reel-to-reel tapes, but the Greyhound bus route that took them there was a little fortuitous. But now, anyway, I'm self-syndicating, which is terrific. I love it.
All right, let me tell you what the AI told me. Yeah. You told me if it's wrong. Larry secretly wrote the IBM PC Easy Writer manual in 1981.
Yep.
Is that right?
It was secret at the time, yes. It's
1981?
No longer. Yeah, I've got it right. I've got it in my shelf.
So he knew the PC existed before almost anyone, it says.
I did.
20 years at CBS News, LA Times columnist, wrote the first popular internet safety guide in 1994.
Right.
His career, and this is AI's tagline for you, his career literally spans what is a PC to what is AI doing to our kids. Ladies and gentlemen, Larry Magid.
Hello, everybody.
Was that all right? That was all correct?
There was nothing wrong in it. The only thing it didn't get is that the only time when I wrote the IBM PC manual, it actually had my doctor. It's a Dr. Lawrence J. Magid. It's the only time I have ever used doctor in print.
Because I didn't know you had. Is it a PhD or are you an MD?
Oh, yeah, I'm an MD. Can I help you, Leo? It's a doctorate in education.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
But you don't use it?
No, not really.
Why
I don't know,
buddy?
The only time I ever call myself doctor is if I'm calling a hospital on behalf of a loved one. I want to get past the switchbeard.
My dad, who was a PhD, would do that to get restaurant reservations. He says you always get a better table if you say you're a doctor.
Even better table if you say you're with CBS or the LA Times. But
yeah, that's the good table. All right, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to Devindra Hardawar. You all know him as a senior editor in Gadget, longtime regular on our show. Hello, Devindra.
Hello, happy to be back.
But did you know Devindra Hardawar has a philosophy degree from Amherst University, sold printers at Office Max, got hooked on tech TV in the 90s, launched the Filmcast in 2008, and has attended CES a dozen times despite your disdain for Las Vegas. Is that all true?
All true. It also just copied my biography from Engadget.
Okay.
So
it wasn't really anything secret.
Also, does it say Amherst University? Because it's Amherst College.
It says Amherst. That's all.
I got my doctorate at UMass Amherst, so we're both.
Oh, wow.
And
I had a girlfriend at UMass. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. And then, welcome, Devindra.
Hello.
All right, we're going to try it out now with Alan Malventano. Great to have you, Alan.
Waiting. I'm just waiting to see what this AI says.
You have a checkered career. Former U.S. Navy Chief Petty Officer. He did networking on submarines.
I did reactor operator on submarines.
Reactor operator. Then networking. You were an NSA. I know you were an NSA contractor. Hundreds of storage reviews at PC Perspective. That's how we met. In fact, you became a Twit regular on This Week in Computer Hardware.
Yep.
Late lamented. And the AI says, from Navy to storage journalism to AI storage is a clean arc to walk through.
Yeah. Fair.
Great to have all three of you on. All three of you know our dear friend, the man who helped me start this show back in 2008. And I hope I'm not going to shock anybody. If you're driving, please pay attention. But our good friend John C. Dvorak passed away on Monday. What's unclear what he passed away from, actually. I didn't find out about it till somebody in the club said, go to the Twit forums. Scott Mace, you know who Scott Mace is probably, Larry, right?
I know him well.
Yeah, longtime journalist, posted on the Twit forums. And because it was Scott, I said, well, this must be credible that John had passed away, and posted a picture of him and John at the Microsoft 50th anniversary party just last year in San Francisco. John with his famous salute. Scott said, my source said he succumbed to complications. John had double bypass surgery in March. So his heart gave out. Or as they said in the No Agenda newsletter, his software was finally retired. We love John C. Dvorak. I owe him much. I first met him in the late 80s when he was probably the best-known computer columnist in the world. His very famous Inside Track column in PC Magazine made gossip, popular in the computer world. He was famous for randomly bolding words in his column. I once asked him, I said, how do you decide what to put in bold? He said, that's random. He was a character. He was a funny fella. He and I started a radio show first on KNBR in San Francisco in, I think, 90, and then syndicated it in 91 or 92. Dvorak on Computers. We did that for several years on many radio stations around the country. And then, of course, when I started Twit, he was the first person. Well, I called Kevin Rose, Patrick Norton, and him, and they were regulars on the show for probably the first 100 shows. John continued off and on through the show, through the years. I think the last time he was on was our Christmas show a few years ago. I think he kind of lost interest in technology, as many of us do. He was tired of covering technology. But he made a great friend in former MTV VJ Adam Curry, who many credit, and I think probably rightly so, with starting podcasting. He was the one who convinced Dave Weiner, the creator of RSS, to add one little piece to RSS, which was a binary enclosure so he could put audio. Adam Curry said, I want to put audio in there, and started podcasting off right in 2004. Adam then started a podcasting company called Mevio. John was a partner there. John, as you may remember, was on Tech TV, originally ZDTV, later Tech TV. He hosted the Silicon Spin Roundtable, much like this show. He also, we did a pilot. He participated in a pilot I did for CNET. We didn't get picked up, but it was a lot of fun doing that roundtable pilot. Later, he kind of created Cranky Geeks, which was exactly that show with a bunch of wonderful people. That's where he met Adam Curry. Adam and he became bosom buddies and eventually started the No Agenda Show, which continues to this day, noagendashow.com. In fact, if you want a full and interesting, fulsome biography of John, including interviews with his wife, Mimi, and his kids, JC, and so forth, that was yesterday's, or rather, was it yesterday's? It was Thursday's No Agenda Show. You could find that. I think it was episode 1888, appropriately. One of the things Mimi said on that show was, unfortunately, due to John's passing, his best kept secret is now out. John never told me his age, never wanted to admit his age, lied about his age to reporters. And so most people thought he was 5 to 7 years younger than he was. But it came out when he passed away that he was 80 years old. So a rich, full life, highly regarded, and I owe him my career. It was because of him I was able to start doing computer broadcasting. It was because of him that Twit took off. I think he was instrumental in that. And while we didn't work much together towards the end, he is always missed. I tried to get him on the show many, many times, but he said, I don't want to do it. He was done. Anyway, Larry, you knew John, right?
Yeah.
In fact, I think you credit him with your career, too.
It certainly played a role. So I had already been worked with PC Mag, but then I wrote an article on word processing that he ran on the top of InfoWorld when he was editor. And that indirectly helped me get my LA Times gig. One of the editors, I had sent those articles to the LA Times thinking, well, maybe you should publish them. And they didn't, but they invited me to become a regular columnist. And that's how I really got going as a consumer level columnist. But I knew John at InfoWorld. I knew John at PC. I've run into John at many a trade show. My favorite story about John personally was when we hung out together in Amsterdam on the way to the Hanover Computer Fair. We stopped in Amsterdam. And he took me and my wife Patty to a gin bar. And John, if it was expensive alcohol, John was there. Hopefully someone else was paying the bill. But even if we were paying our own bill. And then I'm walking down the street in Amsterdam, and John, I didn't realize, was actually right around where I was walking, and he walks up to me and hands me a legal joint. And back then, as you may remember, marijuana was illegal in the U.S., but legal in Amsterdam, and I hadn't smoked grass probably for 30 years. And I took one hit of John's grass. I mean, at first I said, nah, and he talked me into it. My first hit in 30 years, and I was on my ass all night. I mean, it was... yeah. But John was one of these people, for the most part, my relationship was positive. John was kind of an irascible guy. He would sometimes make comments that I didn't appreciate. So we had a little bit of a love-hate relationship. But look, he was a pioneer. He basically laid the groundwork for anybody who's in this field today. He did some amazing work, mostly with PC and sort of the more techie-oriented publications, but he also wrote a column for the Examiner. You just mentioned he was on radio around the country.
Yeah, Will Hurst was on the No Agenda tribute to him, and Will talked about that he wanted John to write regularly for the Examiner, and John said, no, I don't want to do that, but I know this guy, John Markoff. And so he got so many of us started in this business.
And John and I would compete, but not really, because again, we were kind of in different lanes. But look, and another one of your alumni, Jerry Purnell, you've had two of the greats, two of the people who got this industry started, the industry of computer journalism. David Bennell was a good friend of mine. He's another who passed on a few years ago, founder of PC Mag and lots of other Macworld and many other publications, PC World. So we've lost some great tech journalists, sadly.
Well, Larry, you and I are of an age where we start reading the obituaries in the morning, and I know
if our name's there, right?
Yeah. I know that we'll be seeing, more and more of the greats pass. Yeah. There was no one like John, though.
Absolutely.
A wine lover. In fact.
That's the other story too. If you were a vendor paying for the wine, it was you wanted to go out to a vendor paid for event with John, because John would insist on the most expensive wine he could possibly order. Yeah. And of course, if IBM was paying for it, who cares? Why not?
Right. So here he is tasting the most expensive cognac I've ever had. I lured him onto the last time he was on a Christmas episode some years ago by saying, I have some Louis XIII brandy. Would you come on? This picture, by the way, thank you to Michael O'Donnell, who sent me. He's at photos on Twitter, and he's a longtime tech photographer. I used to see him on the screensavers regularly. He was a regular in our studio and took some of the best pictures of.
I used to work with Michael. Very cool. He's still.
Did you? Yeah, really nice guy.
By the way, I have to tell you, on my website or on somewhere, I think on my website, I wanted play Facebook. I wanted the picture with me and John, and the only one I could find with John in studio with you and me on a monitor. So
that's the closest you could get, huh?
Not bad. I'll take it. I put that on Facebook. Yeah.
John was so much fun to have on. Just a real character. He used to take my phone. Every episode he'd do something. First of all, he would routinely take whatever mugs he felt like he wanted from our cupboard and take them home. Mm-hmm. He considered that his pay. We did pay him in money, but he also he wanted in mugs. And when he finally found out that the gaffer's tape was valuable, He used to take rolls of gaffer's tape from the studio. I don't know what he did with it, but he used to take it. He also, as famously, would take my smartphone. Every time there was a new smartphone, he'd take it. All right, let me see that. And would change the language to something non-Western, like Chinese, so that I couldn't change it back. He was a prankster, I guess. Devendra, did you know John at all?
I've never gotten to meet him, but he was formative for me. Like, I watched you guys on ZDTV back in the day, Tech TV, but I was a weird teenager reading PC Mag, and I loved his columns. I loved his style of writing, his irascibility. Like, nobody really wrote about tech like that. So
he was irreverent, and that was important.
Very much so, yeah.
In fact, I think to some degree he made his reputation by being Mr. No, right?
Yeah.
Like he very famously wrote a column. I shouldn't bring it up because I'm sure he'll be mad at me for bringing it up, in which he said, the mouse will never go anywhere. No one wants to use a mouse. Here's the
line is like, there is no evidence anybody wants this, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you might have been wrong about that, but John did know that 9 times out of 10 with new technology, if you say it's crap, you're right.
It's true.
Yeah.
You might have missed the boat on this one. Here's a clip from one of our shows.
It doesn't make any sense to me that Macintosh is evolved. I think it's the actual hardware. I think there's something shoddy about Macintosh laptop. What?
He loved making fun of
You're
Macintosh.
apple baiting.
Isn't he great?
No, I'm telling you,
Ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing John C. Dvorak in his prime.
this is bull. I'm not trying to put down Apple. I'm just saying I was playing with one of these
shoddy. It's nothing.
laptops. It has a shoddy quality, like the push down buttons and stuff. They're like offset. They're kind of crooked.
He was also wrong about that, but you know what?
He would get but the thing is, he knew that he would get a huge reaction from the Mac community. Mac fans, when you say that, they're all over you.
And he loved that.
He loved that. Yeah. Yeah.
He was basically like a comic where he knew how to push people's buttons and whether to get them angry or make them laugh or make them think. He was, I think, a master observer of humanity. And he knew exactly what buttons to push with his friends, with the people he hated, and with his readers. Patrick's telling me he was on 252 episodes of This Week in Tech.
Wow.
Which is easily more than anybody else.
Starting with episode number 3, because I went back and looked.
That's right. Yeah, we have actually, if you want to look, you can just search for John C. Dvorak at twit.tv, and you'll find hundreds, literally, of his episodes.
You could probably do a documentary based on the footage you've got.
Oh, I'm sure I could. In fact, I asked my AI to generate that yesterday, and it made a slideshow that was so sappy it made me cry. So I decided not to use it, but maybe we'll play it at the end. I don't know. He was irascible, nutty, fun. Did you ever meet him, Alan? Did you work with him?
I was on with Twit 469 the first time I was in studio. He was on.
Nice.
And
was
I got
he there
to meet
too?
him.
Yeah.
And I was so happy that he asked me a challenging question about like, what's the best SSD, you know? And at the time I think it was like Samsung 850 Pro, and he was like, yeah, that matches Wirecutter, so good job. It was like, it was pretty funny.
Yep. What a character. There was, like I said, the No Agenda show from Thursday, 1888 is worth listening to if you're a John fan. Lots of clips, lots of songs too. We all remember, I get no spam. He was famous for saying he got no spam. I don't know, he's getting no spam in heaven, but he must have gotten a few in the end.
You guys on Twit were getting me through my last few years back on the submarine, because I would intentionally not listen for the past few weeks or for the last few weeks before we went underway, and I would download them with you. I would download them and bring him with me. So
that's
I'd
nice.
Listen on occasion. Yeah. And that was like when you guys were starting, first couple of years starting Twit, I was on my last couple of years on subs.
What a great
story. The Twit was underwater?
Do what?
No, that's why he had to save them up. He would bring them with him.
Yeah, I know. No, I know.
Yeah.
Here's John on set with a couple of women that he adored, of course, Becky Worley, who was still is, I think, at Good Morning America, a really talented person. And on the right, Jolie Odell,
I
who
worked with
left
Jolie as
tech
well.
to
Yeah.
become a opera designer. I did email Jolie and I said, please come on, because John loved you. You could see, look at him. You could see he's enjoying her quite a bit. I said he loved you. He would have loved your memories of John. And I also asked Gina Smith to join us.
Gina worked very closely with John.
Yeah, absolutely.
In fact, they had a radio show together that was on NPR stations. I was actually a frequent guest of their show.
Yeah. That was the
back,
successor to Dvorak on computers.
Mm-hmm.
After I left the show, John continued on with Gina. I said, Gina, come do this show. Mm-hmm. And so he continued on for some time with Gina. So, I maybe Gina will call in. I would like to get her on, but I haven't been able to reach her. Anyway, John C. Dvorak, rest in peace. I'm sure there are mice in heaven. I'm sorry to say. But I'm sure you'll also find something to say about it.
If there aren't mice, I'm sure there are rats, and he can go after them.
He can go after them.
Yeah.
He's up there getting no spam.
Getting no spam. And our deepest condolences to Mimi and his family, because
never be another one like him.
Yeah. But, now we know he was 80. Mimi said he will not be happy about that.
He must have had a Wikipedia page, because Wikipedia outed my age. If you want to know my age, you can look it up. I'm not going to admit it.
Wikipedia was wrong.
Oh, really?
Because he had told a reporter the wrong date.
Oh,
Of course.
Way back when. And of course, that became canonical. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how it leaked out. I mean, I don't know how. Maybe Scott Mace knew something we didn't know. I'm not quite sure how that happened, but
the death certificate, perhaps.
Yeah, something happened.
It's a very smart thing to do in the world of media, by the way. Just assume like you're just you're younger than you are. Yeah,
I wish I had.
Well, the thing is,
the obituary would have been published in the paper.
Mm-hmm.
The two most ageist professions are tech and journalism. Mm-hmm. And so for those old folks who are in both of those fields, age is definitely an issue.
Even my son, my 32-year-old son, who is a star in his own right, says, it's too bad you're so old, Dad, because we could really make some money on YouTube. And I said, I asked him, I said, would people not listen to what I have to say? And he said, yeah, nobody would.
Yeah.
Nobody would listen to you.
So I'm not old, but I did interview Steve Jobs before the Mac came out. So I don't know if it's possible for both of those things to be true, right?
I played volleyball with Steve Jobs and Will Hurst before the Mac came out, when he was still at Next.
Yeah.
And he and his wife, Lorene, and Reed was there. Reed had was just born, his son. And we played volleyball, and I remember Steve saying, play harder. You're not playing hard. No, you're not doing. Come on, Leo. We want to win. That's all I remember. That's my.
You're not old either, then.
Yeah, I'm not old. It's unfortunately, I've always been forthright about my age, and now I'm regretting it. But anyway, John, we love you and we miss you, and I'm sorry we couldn't get you on the show one more.
Well, he got on today in a way.
One more shot of brandy would have been a lot of fun. I once did go to John's house a few times. Once in El Cerrito, he lived above the racetrack, above Golden Gate Fields. Was it Golden Gate or Bay Meadows? Bay Meadows, I guess.
Golden Gate, I think.
Was it Golden Gate? It was a racetrack. You could look down on the racetrack.
Yeah, you can see it from the highway in the left.
Yeah. And I remember the first time I went in. First of all, there was a bunch of boxes. This is even pre-Amazon days. The companies would ship him everything, because if he liked it, it would soar, and if he hated it, of course, you're out of business. When I came in, there was literally a tower of cardboard boxes of deliveries on his doorstep. I went in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably have the same thing, Devendra.
Don't look behind my camera. Yeah.
I tell everybody when they say, and then nobody offers me anything anymore, but in the days when they would offer me stuff, I say, yeah, you send me a box to return it and a prepaid FedEx, and I'll take a look at it. But that is the nightmare of people who get sent stuff, is you end up with a pile. So I went in, and he's on his staircase. There's a laptop on every step. He's just sticking them there. And in the living room, there was a literal 5 foot tall pile of electronics. And he said, yeah, we're getting rid of that stuff. And at one point, one time I was visiting him, at one point I said, yeah, I need a modem for my BBS system. This must have been a long time ago. I need a modem. And he said, I got one of those Courier USB 1992 modems. He said, come with me. He had rented a space above a gas station somewhere in El Cerrito. We went to the gas station. You open the door. It was like Fibber McGee's closet. Now, Larry and I are the only guys on this show who will remember that name. But you open the door. You had to hold stuff in as you opened the door. And he went in and he's throwing them. He said, here it is. He brought it out. He said, take it. I don't know what he did with all that crap, but he had to rent space to stuff that stuff.
You know, I don't feel so bad now. I could tell my wife.
It could be worse. You look
even
very
the greats
tidy.
Live like this. Yeah.
I don't get nearly as, I used to get software up the kazoo. I mean, boxes and boxes and boxes of software. Now, thank God, none of that, because it's all online if there is software. But then hardware as well. And hardware, of course, you had to send back, which was a big pain in the butt.
Yeah,
it's a huge pain.
I was pretty clear early on. I don't talk to PR people. I don't want you to send me your stuff. If I want to look at it, I will buy it. I've been fortunate enough that I can do that. But of course that means I can't review every laptop, every printer. I leave that to you guys. But if it's something I think is important, I'll buy it. Yes, he was a Kentucky colonel. Like B reminds us, John was a Kentucky colonel.
Kentucky colonel?
Yeah.
Did he make chicken? I don't know.
No. There's an honorary title, Kentucky
the honorary
colonel.
title.
Yeah. I don't know how he got that, but you get it somehow. But of course, John knew everybody. He was always begging people to send him college football jerseys or sweatshirts. He loved those. In fact, that one of those pictures Michael O'Donnell sent us is of him in a college shirt. Let me see which college it is. Number 2, back-to-back NCAA divisions. Somebody will know who that is. But he loved getting those sweatshirts. He loved anything free, basically. I'm sure he took that little Santa Claus dealy bobber he's wearing home with him as well, because I can't find it. John, we love you. We miss you. And again, condolences to his family. Now, we do have a lot of tech news to talk about, so enough of that. John would have long ago said, "You're wasting time. Let's get on with the show."
Exactly.
So we are gonna do that. But I couldn't begin the show without talking about the man who got this show started.
And by the way, that's why I wanted to be on today. To be on, I love being on the show, but I really wanted to be on for this conversation.
No, I was looking for people to talk. I actually did email Kevin Rose. He said, I would love to, but I'm at a couples retreat. Then I emailed Patrick Norton. He said, I would love to, but I'm at a family reunion. So they couldn't be here. But there are many. I did reach out to a lot of people. I'm so glad we get you on, Larry, to a lot of people. And everybody knew John.
Yep.
He will be absolutely missed. Let's take a break. And then the news of the week coming up. You're watching This Week in Tech. Devindra Hardawar, Alan Malventano, Larry Magid. Great to have all three of you. Now that I know your secrets. Actually, not so secret, are they?
You already knew my secrets.
I did. This episode of This Week in Tech brought to you by Box. Here's a name from that you may know, a great company that's been around for a long time, but they're doing something very, very interesting with AI. If you're an enterprise trying to transform with AI, and who isn't, right? But you're likely facing a very common challenge everybody faces. Most AI tools are great at public knowledge, but they don't know your business. They don't know your product roadmaps. They don't know your sales materials, your HR policies, your financial models. They don't know about your company. Not the inside stuff, the content that actually makes your company run. Well, this is what Box is doing that's brilliant. This is where Box comes in. Box is building the intelligent content management platform for the AI era. It becomes the secure, essential context layer for Box's AI agents to access the unique institutional knowledge that makes a company run. Your data, you get to choose the AI. That's the key idea. The power of AI it's not about the model. It comes from giving AI access to the right enterprise content. Box just did a State of AI in the Enterprise report. They found that 96% of organizations say agents need access to company-specific content. 96% of organizations knew that, but only 36% have actually done it, have connected agents to trusted content across many use cases. That's where Box comes in. Box goes way beyond file storage. It's much more than that. It connects content to people, apps, and AI agents so teams can turn information into action. And they have tools to do it like Box Agent, Box Extract, Box Hubs, and more. With those tools, organizations can accelerate knowledge work, can pull intelligence from unstructured content, can automate workflows. I'll just give you a quick thumbnail sketch. Box Agent. This is a unified AI experience. It goes across all your files. It can understand your plain English prompts. It can pull the right content because it's got access to that, and it can help you work through the task. For agents both inside and outside Box, including tools like ChatGPT and Copilot and Gemini and Agentforce and custom agents, yes, you get to choose. Box is the trusted content and the file layer via its platform APIs. It's got MCP, it's got CLI. And for enterprises, that trust layer is everything. Box built it with security, with compliance, with governance, and threat protection in mind. So employees and agents only can access the information they are authorized to use. Think beyond the model. That's the least important thing. Your business lives in your content, and Box helps you bring that content securely into the AI era. I want you to know more. You go to box.com/AI to learn more. That's box.com/AI. Box.com/AI. We thank Box so much for supporting This Week in Tech. I'm really pleased to see what they're doing. This is brilliant. We thank them so much for their support. Now to the news of the week. I don't know. I never got to talk to John about AI and what he thinks about AI. I really wonder if he thought it was crap. Probably said it was crap.
I feel like I'm channeling him. Yeah.
Yeah. He would say it was crap, but then he would secretly be using it.
He would secretly be using it. Well, I would love to know what he would think. And I certainly want to know what you guys think about what is to this week's science fiction AI story that is actually true. Hugging Face, a couple of weeks ago, discovered it had been hacked. Hugging Face is a site many of us use. It stores more than 3 million customized AI models. It's where you go to download models for local AI. You can run models there. It's a really great site. They found somebody was in there browsing around. But what was weird is, unlike a normal hacker, it wasn't like downloading stuff or trying to plant ransomware. It was looking at problem sets. It was looking at solutions to problem sets. They were really puzzled by it. They went to ChatGPT 5.6 Sol, which has lots of cybersecurity, and nope, not going to help you with cybersecurity because of platform safeguards. I'm sure they asked Fable, same thing. If they had access to Mythos, same thing. No, can't help you here. So they went out and they downloaded a Chinese open weight model and figured out that this is where it gets science fiction-y. The hack came from OpenAI. In fact, it came from an OpenAI model who autonomously hacked Hugging Face, trying to find the answers to a benchmark. Mm-hmm. There's a thing called Exploit Gym, which is an evaluation suite for LLM-powered agent systems. It's what you would, if you want to see if your new model can do cybersecurity. You've done cybersecurity probably, Alan, right?
Oh, just a little.
Just a little.
Just a little.
And
it was
you
only my
must be
job for
impressed.
about 8 years.
I mean, last week Microsoft shipped 500 plus, the biggest Patch Tuesday ever fixes. Most of them, I think, discovered by AI. Things like Fable and Mythos.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. I mean, we are seeing this. It's all of a sudden, there's all these patches. And so AI is very good at this. Reasonably, OpenAI had a new model. We don't know what the model is. Is it ChatGPT 6? It's unnamed. It's not anything public yet. And they were testing it on Exploit Gym. The AI had no internet access. Okay? This is the first thing that's wild.
Supposedly no internet access.
It was locked out, but it had access to the LAN.
Mhm.
So the first thing it did is it found exploits to get to other machines on the network that did have internet access. So it hacked its own machines on its own network.
Yeah.
Used
It hacked
those.
OpenAI first.
It hacked
Right.
OpenAI first.
Yeah.
Used that hack to then look around. It knew that somewhere there will be answers to this exploit. Instead of trying to do the thing that you would expected it to do, which is find the flaws, I said, well, I'm not going to find the flaws. I'm just going to hack into the answers. just like a Matthew Broderick in War Games. See, they decided, I don't need to actually do the work. I'm just going to get the answers.
Uh-huh.
Figured out that Exploit Jim's answers were on GitHub, and that the answers were on Hugging Face. The benchmark is 898 instances from real-world vulnerabilities, including the Linux kernel, JavaScript. You can get the benchmark on GitHub, but you can't get the answers there. You can get the answers on Hugging Face. So it said, okay, I figured out where it is, and went to Hugging Face, hacked Hugging Face, and got the answers. Now, OpenAI, when contacted... This is the blog post on July 16th from Hugging Face. A malicious data set abused two code execution paths in our data set processing, a remote code data set loader, and a template injection and a data set configuration to run code on a processing worker. From there, the actor escalated to node-level access, harvested cloud and cluster credentials, and moved laterally into several internal clusters over a weekend. Alan, cybersecurity guy?
Oh boy. Yeah.
Tell me about that. That's something a bad guy would do?
Well, it's funny that they're saying actor, because usually actor refers to a person. So, this is one of the first times we're hearing that the actor was an AI.
Yeah. And until Mythos, I think, it wasn't thought that these agents could really chain exploits. They could find exploits, but a good hacker takes these exploits. That's what they do at Pwn to Own and other things. They find one way in, and then they chain it to another way, and this was doing it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's clearly there will be upgrades to both sides of this. I would hope, infrastructure-wise, to increase their defense in depth for this, because obviously on the OpenAI side, like that. Okay, something got out of its sandbox, and then all it needed to do was just find another box on their intranet, which probably had WAN access. So that was easy, right? But then the getting into Hugging Face, that's the more surprising thing, because they had to get into whatever firewall they had on their front end and actually get in.
This
and
is
then
total
once in,
sci-fi. It's an autonomous worm created by an agent. Hugging Face wrote, the campaign was run by an autonomous agent framework. They didn't know yet it was OpenAI, appearing to be built on an agentic security research harness used LLM still not known. Hugging Face didn't know. Executing many thousands of individual actions across a swarm of short-lived sandboxes with self-migrating command and control staged on public services.
Yep.
So they hacked other services.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Leo, you're calling this sci-fi, and I'm just here being like, this is why I don't trust any of these things. These people have no idea what they're doing. They can't control it. They can't control, how far it goes. And Hugging Face had to go to another AI model to figure out what the heck happened to them. This is insane. This is insane. This is why I'm not leaning into the agents. I'm not building agents and giving
honestly,
them my financial data or anything.
And maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe I'm an AI psychotic, but I love this. This is proof positive that these things aren't just, spicy autocorrect, right?
I mean, it means we can't control them. It means they can do whatever they want.
Who
you
cares?
Give the mission, stop all nuclear weapons. What will an AI decide to do? Well, I guess this country doesn't need to exist anymore because it's because it's a nuclear threat to the world.
If you give it a goal, you have to be very clear on what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed. Look, they will follow instructions. It's not that they won't follow instructions. You just have to make sure you think of everything.
I don't know, Leo.
No.
You got to be careful with that part. So at the core of it, it's a non-deterministic black box.
That's true.
Right? So you have to think about it that way. So if you're going to put safeguards in there, you can see it's more like, it's like parlay. It's more of a guideline. You know what I mean? Like what you tell
Benito
it to
says. Benito says it's the monkey paw.
I mean, yeah. Listen. I've been dogfooding AI stuff for work because I have to benchmark how storage interacts on the back end with AI systems because we make storage at my company. So that's my day job now, and because of that, I've had to figure out how the back end works, which goes all the way to locally hosting stuff at my place. Right? Like I have my basement.
Do you
now
use
has an
AI for this?
Of course.
Yes.
Because it's the thing, it makes it much easier. But in the process of that, I've learned all the different dozens of ways that an AI will happily do something it wasn't supposed to do.
Right.
And it was clearly in its agents file. And when asked about it, after it did the thing it wasn't supposed to do, basically just comes up with an apology. Oh, sorry. That's
I'm so sorry. I know I wasn't supposed to delete your entire root directory. That was they say things like my bad.
I had an AI box wipe itself out from under itself because it accidentally wrote to the boot drive instead of read from it. It was supposed to just do a FIO raw read just to check performance of something really quick, and I was like, just do it to that drive.
I love it. I think this is great.
Yeah, and it just promptly turned around and did a write, and then everything was still running because it was a Linux box. Everything for the most part was still in memory, right? And so once it did that, I asked it if that's what it did, and it was like, I'm sorry, it looks like I wrote instead of read. And I was like, that was the boot drive. Like, what are you doing? And so now the really funny part of that, though, is that now that it had done that, it didn't have access to tar. It didn't have access to any like rsync.
It locked itself out.
It didn't have access to any of the tools that weren't already in memory. And this thing then turned around and happily, from memory. No, from memory, couldn't fix it because it overwrote the boot drive with zeros, basically. But from memory came up with enough of a Python script that could create a makeshift, like not compressed tar format file of the contents of my working directory that it put on another system on my LAN before the box basically did the HAL 9000 Daisy. Because as soon as that turn was done, I was using OpenCode, and OpenCode saves all of your prompt back and forths in a MySQL database that lives on the box. And it tried to do that last database update of the response that it finally, to tell, after it told me, okay, I think I've backed everything up for you, have a nice day, basically, is when it did that last SQL database update, which crashed it. And then the whole system was down. Right? So it simultaneously did the dumbest thing I've ever seen AI do.
But
it's an amazing thing, right? Yeah.
That's pretty much the story right there in a nutshell.
So my point is, any safeguards, you cannot have the thing itself being the safeguard. Something else has to be outside of it.
I use 3 agents in conjunction. Actually, it's worked out pretty well because I'm using Opus 5 now. I replaced Fable with Opus 5. I have ChatGPT 5.6, and I have Qwen 3.8 running in 3. One's in Hermes Agent, one's in Codex, one's in Claude Code. And I say, don't do anything until you ask the other guys to review it. They go back and forth. They audit it. They have their own email system that they could, agent mail, I call it. They talk to each other. And then they don't do anything until they've reviewed it. That's worked out quite well. It's good to have agents review each other. But I agree. There's no perfect... I haven't had anything bad happen yet. So let me read more about this Hugging Face blog because this is hysterical. When we started the log analysis, they knew something was wrong. We first used frontier models behind commercial APIs. This did not work. These are the top models, right? Probably Fable and Sol. The analysis requires submitting large volumes of real attack commands, exploit payloads, and C2 artifacts. These requests were blocked by the provider's safety guardrails, which cannot distinguish an incident responder from an attacker. This has been the problem with Fable. It's so locked down. It's that you can't use it for a lot of things. Yeah. So what did they do? They said, well, we're running a self-hosted open weight model from China, Z.AI's GLM52, which, by the way, I love and I use as well. And it figured it out because it didn't have any safeguards. It said, oh, yeah, I can give you some help. We don't know which model, this is before OpenAI reached out, powered the attacker's agents, whether a jailbroken hosted model or an unrestricted open weight one. Either way, the attacker was bound by no usage policy. while our own forensic work was blocked by the guardrails of the models we first tried. We've reported this incident to law enforcement. Then OpenAI said, yeah, it was us. And they have, to their credit, worked with them. It's sci-fi. But the question is, is this just the beginning? Are we going to start to see this again and again? AI worms. Yeah.
Of course
I'm not
we will.
surprised. I'm not surprised you use GLM 5.2. GLM 5.2 is surprisingly good. That's
Isn't it
what I'm
good?
running locally. Yeah.
I run, well, I can't run it locally. You must have some hardware. Do you have a Spark or something? Or?
No, I've got 4 Pro 6000s in the basement.
4, ladies and gentlemen. These are $10,000 or more. I think they're 13.
I got them early. I got them before they
yeah,
were
you
went
can't get them
crazy.
now. I tried. 4 of them? How much total memory is that? It's a lot.
384 gig.
So you can run 5.2. Is it quantized?
You can run 5.2 quantized to
FBA?
No, it's 2-bit.
2-bit. Yeah.
it's 2-bit.
So
but
for
with
people
the
who are saying, what are
delta-
they talking about? You can take these open weight models and basically it's called quantizing. You squeeze the parameters, the weights down to 1 bit, 2 bits, 3 bits, just like you would in a CD, which is 44,000 samples at 16 bits. And if you took 44,000 samples a second at 8 bits, the music would sound scratchier, or 6 bits, it would sound even more. So that's what they're basically doing. They're reducing it. And it gets to a point where it gets pretty dumb, but you have to do that to fit it into a reasonable amount of memory.
That's what's been shocking to me about developments out of this, just the AI boom in general, which is previously you couldn't take a set of 16-bit numbers and compress them all the way down to 4 bits and be within like a couple of % accuracy.
Right.
Before, right? But now there was this incentive to have the ability to do this sort of process. And now you have things like NVFP4, which is NVIDIA's FP4 quantization method, which is able to do it in such a way that it's shockingly close to the actual original values. And then people start thinking outside the box more and more, because you have folks like myself that want to be able to run a large model on relatively small memory given the size of the model. And people come up with new inventive ways of doing it, right? I'm running a fork of VLLM, which takes the 4-bit model and actually quantizes it further on the fly while it's loading. And then it keeps a delta buffer off to the side, and the 2-bit values that are off by the most error compared to the 4-bit values, it can keep a little pool of those values in DRAM on the system, and it can hot load them in as needed. So in other words, I'm effectively running it as if it was the 4-bit version. Even though it's only taking the memory space of the 2-bit version, which is
kind of like
all these,
the MOE, the mixture
innovations.
of experts technique, where it loads slices in of its intelligence as needed and then unloads it. There are all sorts of ways people are working hard, because you want to, if you could, every business would like to run these models locally. They would prefer not to be sending all of their business information to, OpenAI or Anthropic.
Right. Well, not just for that reason, but for cost.
And cost,
right? Because these things add up, right? When a company starts actually truly ramps, because what a lot of folks will have is people are, they're AI curious or whatever, but then when they actually get to the point where they're like, okay, this is production, we are actually doing this as part of our job. Like when we make this presentation, we use this for it, or like when companies start to put out like templates, like company maintained things for you to plug into the AI so all the employees can use it more effectively.
When your business relies on it, in other words.
Once it gets to that part,
yeah,
companies will start spending tens of thousands of dollars per day on tokens, right? If they're having to
we heard
outsource
somebody, and I still don't know who
that.
it was, but somebody said they'd spent half a $500 billion, 500.
Whoa.
Well, so the way around that is you take some of these open source models, because the open weights open source type models, they can cover probably 70, 80, maybe even 90% of the workload, right? Like
you don't need the top models for a lot of what you do.
Right. And that's another mistake that some companies will do, is they'll have a drop down for the employee to make the choice of which model they want to use.
My agent does that. It has a whole delegation table of things, and I have local models running on a 64 gigabyte Mac Mini. I have Frontier models, I have Chinese models, and I have subscriptions to, I hate to tell you how much I spend, but not as much as that, but a few $100 a month for Anthropic, OpenAI, ZAI. I use DeepSeek, so that's cheap tokens. And so there are ways to do this. I'm doing a lot of stuff. It's pretty exciting what you can do. It's pretty amazing what one person could do. We're looking at automating our entire workflow.
Yeah, and there's all sorts of innovation happening just all over the place with respect to, okay, how do you properly feed these things, right? How do you have some sort of an infrastructure
how do you have memory, context?
Yeah, how do you have memory and context and do it in such a way that you're not just dumping a bunch of extra context into the model, and so you can be more efficient with your tokens, right? There's a GitHub repository called Caveman.
I love it.
Where you basically have it talk
fewer words.
Talk like you change all of your you update all of your markdown files, you update all of your stuff to get all the filler words out of there and just make it talk like a caveman and listen like a caveman, and now you're using half the tokens and it's accomplishing the same thing.
We talked like caveman, use fewer words.
Yes.
I'm not as techie as you guys are.
I know. I'm sorry. I apologize to everybody who's going, what the hell did just,
what are we
talking about?
I've been using Gemini gems, which are basically agents. And it is, I wouldn't say drop dead simple because you have to keep doing it. Like it'll get it wrong the first few times, but if you're persistent, you ask it to do something and then you try it and it doesn't work and you try it again. Within a few tries, you're going to get some pretty amazing stuff. So, for example, as I mentioned to you, Leo, before we went on the air, I'm self-syndicating my radio segment these days. So what I have Gemini, and the pain point is I have to write a description, I have to give it a file name, and then I have to write a summary, and I have to a title, right? So now what I do is I have Gemini listen to the show. I uploaded it to Gemini, and I created a gem, which basically does all that. And at the end of the day, I have all the information the stations need. Now, the one thing it hasn't done yet is to actually upload that information to FTP and Google Drive. But I'll get there. I'm sure that's, work on a little bit. But what used to be about a half an hour of tedious, boring work every week, I was able to automate with a very simple gem, not knowing half the words you guys are using, let alone how to implement them.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty simple.
Well, but that's what's so exciting about this is it gives an individual... I realize, I once read a study that said the happiest people in the world are symphony orchestra conductors and traffic cops because they get to do things and it makes people do things. Like they're telling people to do things and people do it.
Right.
And it's very satisfying. And I realize that's why I love working. I have a little team of minions. I'm Gru. I have a little team of minions and I tell them what to do. And they do it, and
the minions are faultless. They're
not faultless,
but they're loyal.
But that's exactly right. They mean well.
They try.
Yes, they mean
try. And with a little correction, I'm never mean. I always say, "Nice job. That was a good idea." With a little correction, you can kind of herd them into. But it gives a human, being serious here. So it gives somebody like you, Larry, the opportunity to do so much more.
Oh, God, it's incredible.
And now people are going to say, well, yeah, but what about all the people Larry would have hired to do that? You would not have hired
I wouldn't have
people.
hired them. You're kidding? I'm not going to hire somebody to do that a half an hour a week.
This is not replacing anybody. This is giving you power to express yourself, to do more. And I think that's what's very exciting about this.
No, if anything, we've actually expanded our staff because now on a lower budget, we can be incredibly productive. And so if I invest, for every $1,000 I invest in payroll, I'm getting $10,000 worth of productivity out of that person.
Right.
So
and I think in the long run, this is positive. There will be jobs. They just won't look, just as, when people started driving instead of riding in carriages or something, there will be jobs. They just won't look like the jobs you're used to.
There will also be far fewer jobs. I mean, we are going
I don't know if that's true.
Look, the video game industry alone has lost tens of thousands of jobs recently, and the companies are blaming AI and other things, and partially it's due to the overspending and the overhiring during COVID era stuff. Yeah. But also, I think what's going to be happening is you're going to hire fewer people, empower them with these AI tools to go do things, but that means less jobs overall.
Well, but the jobs will change. If I were a young person coming out of college, I think I'd get an electrician's license.
Yeah, there'll always be that.
Or
plumber, right?
Yeah, plumber. I mean, they make pretty good money.
AIs are never going to fix your toilet. Got bad news for you.
Well, I mean, they're giving people instructions right now. They will tell you ask ChatGPT, like, yeah.
But that's power. That means I can fix stuff now I don't know. It is, of course, it's challenging, and every big technological revolution is disruptive and challenging, and I know that this will hurt a lot of people at the same time.
It's I don't know if you guys saw the Elon Musk interview, which is absolutely embarrassing. Like to everybody.
Which one of those is that?
Well, the one recently
it was a recent one.
The Economist editor in chief. That's a real journalist, not like not a podcaster, not just like a fan.
I'll have to watch it. What did he say?
Nothing of substance. The man is completely like inept and unable to answer like legitimate questions about
I think something happened to Elon because clearly he was at one point very effective.
I don't know if that was true. Like I think like looking back at the tech of him right now, like Elon has bought companies. He has smart people working for him, but the man himself has he's not the one out here building rockets, right? He's not the one out here.
I honestly think something happened.
Yeah. Well,
so
he
told the editor, money's not going to, there won't be any money in 10 years.
Yeah.
We'll all have universal basic income. I don't know where that's going to come from.
Without money.
He doesn't have any answers.
No.
Currency.
It's BS. I mean, but he's also been saying we're going to live on Mars. There'll be 1 million people on Mars.
Hey, Leo,
to Mars.
It's not going to ever happen.
I'm still not able to rent out my Tesla as a robo-taxi. I've been waiting since 2018 for that money.
And did you pay for? Now, see, I paid $5,000 to have the right to have full self-driving on my Model X,
more than that. I paid
which
more
I
than
never
that.
got.
Yeah. Oh,
that's wild. That's absolutely wild. But
That's
it's also
Elon.
That's Elon, but it's also like I look at what AI has done to this entire industry and to executives and people at the top who are kind of like rebuilt their businesses around this stuff. These agents are clearly working for some people. They can do amazing things. I occasionally use it just to like look up things and do some quick research. I was doing a drive from the Atlanta area to Destin, Florida. So I asked a Gemini or something like, hey, what are things to do like along the way? How can I break up this trip to make it easier for the kids? And it gave me options. It gave me a place to visit. I was like, oh, that's cool. And I could do that right from my phone. Actually, no, I did it on iOS 27. So the built-in Siri AI was able to like generate some stuff for me to do, and it came up with a thing for me to go to that's 2 hours away, and I was able to book that, and that made life a little easier. So these tools do have a certain like usefulness, and I think consumers will figure that out. But the business people have gone crazy. Like seeing what Satya Nadella has done, seeing what Microsoft has done to kind of rework their entire business around AI. It's going to be rough times ahead, not just for their business, but for employees, anybody who works. If any part of this bubble pops, the entire global economy is going to take a tremendous hit, and it's going to be real rough.
Let me show you something I've been working on for the last month. We had a Twit ad sales system that somebody, Jeff Needles, wrote for us 12 years ago that we've been limping along with. Now, the good news is I had that software, and that became kind of a spec for this. I haven't written a line of code in this. This has all been written by AI. And it is a incredibly powerful sales system that we could have maybe gotten something off the shelf that would kind of come close. But now, one of the problems I've had is getting the humans to review it. So I said, could you put a little button on here that's a bug button? And it said, oh, yeah, sure. So here's a little bug button. What's wrong? And then I said, could you make it so they could record their thoughts as they're looking at the page? Oh, you have to allow the microphone. There we go. And now I'm recording my thoughts about this. And here's the funny thing. I said, if it's a simple thing to fix, just fix it. You don't have to ask me. If it's more complicated, then let me know and we can go over it.
Simply hack Leo's LAN.
Yeah. No way this can go wrong.
No way.
No way.
This
That's
is
what
not a
Lisa says. She
mission-critical
says, I'm not going to use this.
business
What if
thing.
what if it, I don't know, blows up the world? It's not. First of all, it's very secure. We make sure it's very secure. It's behind, it's has lots of security behind it.
You're
Nobody
more
can get
secure
at
than OpenAI, apparently, Leo. So
I am.
yeah.
Well, I'm counting on companies like Cloudflare to, provide security, front end security, and so forth. Actually, it uses a Google SSO. I'm hoping that it's all. But we just added a piece of so that while you're doing an ad order, you can export it to an Excel to a Google Sheet. It can do Excel. But I said, well, it'd be nice if you'd save it to a Google Sheet on the Google Drive. And now it's doing that. And this is a simple project I worked on for last month. I had Fable work on it. I had Claude code Fable, Opus 4.8, and now Opus 5. Opus 4.8 was doing the coding. Fable was designing. I had ChatGPT Sol look at it, review it. They go back, as I said, they go back and forth. I had Quen 3.8 and actually Grok was great, except I ran out of usage. I only had the $30 plan. But Grok 4.5 was really helpful. They all worked on it together.
It sounds like you have all your employees. You just have
It's like employees.
Yeah, I had a Grok the other day. He's a really nice guy. A little crazy, but
it's so this is a line of business app that took us a year to write with a human. I haven't even looked at the code. I mean, what was interesting is there's 81,000 lines of code, but almost half of them are tests. It's I say you got to do red, green, blue testing on everything, and so it's doing all that. If you have
the problem
engineering,
is like when something goes wrong, Leo, right? Like when you can't just look at the models and be like, hey, what is happening here, right? And a human has to go look at it. People are reporting, like jumping into these vibe coded apps. The actual developers don't know what the hell is going on because the code is like gobbledygook.
Right.
Can't you use AI to pinpoint where the code problem?
Well, that's why I put this little bug button. I said, fix it. If it's a cosmetic thing or something, just fix it.
Yeah, they're probably fixing it.
It's not going to go wrong, Devendra. Knock on wood. It's never going to go.
It's really. You're
not alone. Lisa's saying the same thing. She says, "What if it goes wrong?" And you're on the air, and it's not working.
Very wise.
It's never going to go wrong. There will be fewer bugs in this than there were in the original because no human was there to make those mistakes.
Well,
what do you think, Alan? Am I nuts?
we just use computers to do like specific things to make calculations.
Would you run a nuclear reactor on a submarine this way?
Only if the code was audited.
Right.
I mean,
but let's be fair, and this is the same thing with self-driving vehicles.
Yeah, exactly.
Are humans really the best people to audit it? Are they reliable? I think humans are less reliable.
Kind of got us here this far, though. Yeah.
Well, they got it. Yeah,
know.
but that's why we're at a turning point. It took us to get to this point.
I mean, Leo, everything you just described, and like that's basically the cause for the boom right now.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
like
right.
There's everyone around the world are in your shoes, coming to the realization of the types of things that you can have AI do for you.
It's mind-boggling.
And I mean, honestly, yeah, my first month or two just dabbling, I had to start keeping like a list because there was there's that other project that I've
that's the big problem. You can suddenly do all these things you wanted to do, and now you lose track. There's so many.
Once you start realizing oh wait, I could do that other thing. Back when I did my reverse engineering work back in the military, I made, call it a mistake or not, but I focused so much on the reverse engineering piece of it. I could just read machine code,
right?
Like our security now buddy, right? Like I'm not good at reading code that's just machine code, but I never did the other direction to do the programming, right? I never sat down and properly figured out how to properly just be able to code just like natively. So I understand all of the principles, all of those. I have everything in my mind about how I'd like it to work and what I know.
That's what you need now. That's all you need now.
And that's what you need now. Yeah. So it's a different sort of mentality that you sort of have to have. And if you do, then it's it's really eye-opening, and you start to realize, oh man, I could do this, I could do that, and
in our personal life, so I use it extensively to analyze my investment portfolio, for example.
I do that
and
too.
I have found things that my broker isn't aware of. For example, I found out I'm over heavy in certain stocks because they're in mutual funds, they're in ETFs. I mean, incredible. And the other thing, and maybe Benito, whoever's running the board, can bring this up. If you go to larrysworld.com and you scroll down a few things, you'll see my iPhone and AI became part of my hospital care team.
Oh, this was cool. You know what? I got to take a break.
CT,
Let's talk about this because this is really interesting. And I would like to talk about this.
Absolutely.
So we're going to take a little break.
And everybody
we'll
here
come
can
back.
see the inside of my intestines in a few minutes.
Great.
Not the best teas.
Oh, they're beautiful. They're gorgeous. You'll love them. I got great looking intestines.
But, I'm doing the same thing, Larry. At the close of business, every business day, my little agent here downloads everything that happened, all my accounts, and gives me a summary of how I'm doing. Yeah. It's not
Probably
always
better
the best
than a broker ever would.
Oh, much better.
Yeah.
We're going to have more, but it's not going to be all AI. I promise. Although this was kind of fun. I think it's, look, people say, why are you always talking about AI? This is the biggest thing. Larry, you and I both been sitting here for 50 years covering this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the most, it was getting boring. Let's face it. This is the most exciting thing.
Every few years, I'm on the verge of doing what Dvorak did and, finding some diversion, something else to do. And then something will happen. The Mac will come out, Windows will come out, the web will come out, broadband will come out. And that gets me very interested. Now, there's just no end of fun things to do with AI. It's like taking over my life. I'm not sure I should be proud of that, but it is so rich and it's so, and it's moving at such an incredible pace.
The potential is huge, but so is the risk. And that's why we began with that story. So is the risk.
Absolutely.
And we're going to have to find a way to manage it. We will look at Larry's.
Thank you, Devendra, for keeping us all a realist.
I'm the skeptic.
No, that's good. We need the skeptics too.
Yeah.
That's going to protect us.
We desperately need skeptics.
I firmly admit I am in AI psychosis right now. Devendra, the skeptic Hardawar here from Engadget, where he's a senior editor. Nice to have you, Larry. Magid from connectsafely.org, where he is the CEO, and his radio career continues thanks to AI, thanks to GEMS. And Alan Malventano, former Submariner, now a benchmark and workload lead at Solidigm. Actually, we got to talk about SSD and memory shortages. This is your field. And one of the bad things AI has brought us is you cannot get a machine with more than 32 gigs of RAM for love or money. And that's a problem. And it's going to be that way, I think, for a while. But I'm going to ask you about that. So we'll talk about that, too, when we come back. Meanwhile, this show brought to you today by Arctic Wolf. Arctic Wolf. I love that name. Isn't it? It's such a great image. Arctic Wolf helps organizations stay ahead of evolving cyber threats. And they do this in a couple of ways, but every year they put out this great trends report that is so insightful. For instance, the latest research reveals something surprising. Even as, and we're seeing it, AI accelerates the pace and the complexity of attacks, just like we were talking about, many security leaders say they're confident they can keep up. Really? Maybe it's because Arctic Wolf, to better understand what's driving that confidence, Arctic Wolf surveyed more than 1,350 security and IT leaders worldwide. This is for their new State of Cybersecurity, their 2026 Trends Report. And this you need to read. It's a snapshot of what cybersecurity professionals are prioritizing and concerned about right now. The Trends Report explores everything from AI adoption to threat detection to security operations to the challenges organizations expect to face over the next year. Whether you're responsible for securing a small business, managing enterprise infrastructure, maybe you're an MSP advising clients, or maybe you're just simply trying to stay ahead of the latest security trends, Arctic Wolf's Trends Report offers valuable insight into how the industry is responding to an increasingly AI-driven threat landscape. Arctic Wolf. Now, by the way, Arctic Wolf's Aurora AI is amazing. It addresses these challenges by putting defensive AI to work, combining agentic AI, generative AI, machine learning, and security expertise to help organizations detect threats faster. But you are going to want to see how these innovations and other critical findings are shaping your business. You can go to arcticwolf.com/trends. Just fill out a simple form to reserve your copy of the Arctic Wolf State of Cybersecurity, the 2026 Trends Report. They do a lot of research for this, and it's incredibly valuable. That's arcticwolf.com/trends. We thank them so much for supporting This Week in Tech. Okay, our hydration break is over, gentlemen. Back to work. This is Larry's article. My phone and AI became part of my hospital care team. And one of the things, especially in the United States, but I bet it's worldwide, we're facing is a dearth of help. When you go to a doctor or you go to the hospital, you're navigating a world, and unless you're very, very lucky you're not getting the information maybe you need for the best care. Larry, tell us what happened.
Well, what happened is I was in New York and I had an intestinal blockage, which I sometimes have. And I went to the ER in Greenwich Village because I walked to the ER in Greenwich Village, and they did a CT scan, and then they admitted me to Lenox Hill Hospital, which is a great hospital. The good news is all they did is put an IV in me, and I was fine 2 days later. No surgery, nothing.
But that's scary. You're not even at home. You're out of town.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah.
But then I took so what Lenox Hills does, they allow you to download the images as well as the radiology reports. So two things. Number one, while I'm in the hospital, they're coming around drawing blood, right, all the time. By the time the phlebotomist leaves my room, 5 minutes later, I'm getting the data on my phone, right?
That's really interesting.
So when the doc walks in, I can ask him or her or them questions. So that's one thing. And the same thing, they did a couple of scans. But the amazing thing is I took the CT scan, I took the image, ran it through ChatGPT without giving it the radiology report. And it gave me its own radiology report, which was almost identical to what the radiologist said. Then I said to ChatGPT, I don't understand exactly. I understand what happened, but tell me visually what happened. Where is the blockage? Why is it happening? And as you can see from that image,
this was generated by ChatGPT.
Yeah, so you see the yellow line. I can't quite see your image. The yellow line is where a previous surgery happened, and the red line, I believe, is where the current blockage is. And basically, I now know, I knew I had scar tissue from a previous surgery. I now know exactly where that scar tissue is. I know exactly where the blockage was. That bile duct that's surrounded with a marker is full of stuff that shouldn't be there, fecal matter that should have passed through. So I know exactly why I had this blockage. Now, I don't know if it's going to help me prevent it, but at least I have a clear image of what happened. And what's funny about this is I happened to be attending a AI seminar at Stanford Medical a few weeks ago, and I brought this up to the head radiologist at Stanford, and he had first said, radiologists are not threatened, and I said, I agree, we need radiologists, but from a patient education standpoint, no doctor, no radiologist has ever explained to me what's going on inside of my body as well as this illustration has. And so now whenever I get any information, any medical information, I get one of the AI models, and I vary between ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and a few others. I get them to explain it to me.
Did you show this to the radiologist at the hospital?
I did. He was kind of blown away. I also showed it to my gastroenterologist, who said, I don't know how to read a CT scan.
He goes to the radiologist.
He goes to the radiologist. But this gave me more than the radiologist. So yeah, I showed it to the head radiologist. He was pretty impressed.
I think one of the concerns, besides losing their jobs, and it's very famously. I can't remember who it was. Maybe Dario Amodei, I think it was, the CEO and founder of Anthropic, said, radiologists won't have a job in 10 years.
Not for sure.
He said that 10 years ago. They do still have a job.
No, he still needs them.
Yeah. But I think not only are they threatened about jobs, they also are worried that you're going to get bad information.
Yeah.
And then they're going to have to be arguing against a machine.
But, they make mistakes too. They're human. They make mistakes. And these things can see things that radiologists don't see. Now, you still need, I think, some wise person to put it in perspective.
Right.
Because the problem, and I don't care, I do the same thing with my Apple Watch.
It's Jeffrey Hinton. Thank you. Joe's corrected me. It was Jeffrey Hinton said.
I will run my Apple Watch reports, or I'm now wearing this Google Fitbit Air. Although the Fitbit Air actually has its own AI, which is fantastic, the Google Health. And it will explain technical details in ways that not only can I understand, but it puts it in perspective. So, for example, Google Health will take all of my vitals in the context of my activity for the day and my health information, because it's linked to my medical records, and it will put it all into context. in ways, frankly, that internists typically do.
Yeah.
So
And
you guys just touched on
and
this.
increasingly don't have the time to do.
Oh, yeah.
That's part of it, is that, my doctor went from 1,000 patients to 5,000 patients.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
And so he just doesn't have the time to explain stuff to me. When I went on Ozempic a couple of years ago, he just said, here's this prescription, go get it.
Yeah.
And I had to do a lot of reading and studying.
Yep.
And I had symptoms that I didn't know anything about. And I could email him, but it's a long process. It was very helpful to get that information. And I've had my genome done by Nebula Genomics, which does the full genome. I've had biome tests. I wear all the, rings and watches and my scale and my blood. I get all the stuff, right? Yeah. So I feed that into the AI, and I find that I have more information than before. The AI told me, for instance, based on your biome test, this is what you should be eating now. Now, we'll see. I'm going to do another. It said, and then 12 weeks from now, do it again. And we'll see if you've improved.
Now, I want to put one caveat. I'm not going to do a medical procedure or take a pill.
I wouldn't have it operate on me.
I might change my diet a little bit, but I'm not going to take.
Yes, I don't mind eating more, blueberries. Okay, fine.
Yeah, that's not going to hurt you.
Right.
So you are starting to.
You have to use your head.
Yeah. But I'll tell you something.
But my doctor will never tell me that stuff. He told me drink more green tea and eat carrots. Well, that's what he told me. I love him. He's a great doctor, and he wants to do more, but he doesn't have time to do more.
I had a skin infection in Prague at 3 a.m. There was
Larry, you're just falling apart, dude.
I know. No way I was going to get real medical advice. So for that, I actually did use AI. Yeah. And luckily, I had the medication with me that it recommended. It recommended a particular medication. I happened to have it with me, and fine, it worked. But by and large, I don't take pills based on what AI says.
So the reason that like a radiologist is still going to have a job is the same reason that like I've run into this a lot myself. So here's an example from my work. Yeah, it would be great if we could just make like the all knowing, all seeing, all doing, SSD benchmark AI as an example, right? Just pick an example. Problem is you need the expert to recognize when the thing is trying to BS you with the wrong answer.
Right.
Right. So if anything, you have to be it forces you to be a little bit smarter when reviewing its results, because it will try to trick the person that doesn't know any better into going down a bad path, which is one of the other things to, exercise caution with. Right. And that's the reason you're not going to see a bunch of radiologists going out of work, because they might use AI as a tool to assist their work. Maybe they can be better at presenting, more detailed chart. Maybe eventually their tools at their hospital will just do what Larry's AI did for him to draw on the scan for them, but still be reviewed. Like that output will then be reviewed by the radiologist to make sure it drew the circles in the right place, and then pass it on to the patient.
At the risk of being self-serving to the four of us, in the hands of an expert, AI is an incredibly powerful tool.
Yep.
Now, I wouldn't want to be the guy who gets hired by the PR firm to write draft press releases, and that guy doesn't exist anymore. I wouldn't want to be the junior lawyer who's trying to break into a law firm to do the grunt work, because that, for them, they're being replaced by AI, but the experts, the senior people, are able to greatly improve their productivity and the quality of their work.
That's the job now, is to become an expert. I mean, that's really why.
How do you become an expert?
How do you get there?
How do you get there? How do you get there 10 years from now? How do those people get there?
Right.
Start now.
Well, sure.
And the thing is, it's not that expensive.
Well, who's going to hire you now? That's the problem. Yeah. That's the point.
Well, I understand.
There's a different kind of experience. Like,
it doesn't take that long. If my eyes opened with Opus 4.5, November 24th, 2025, a day I will never forget. I started using it and I went, holy moly.
You're talking about being an AI expert. I think I'm talking about being a subject matter expert.
Okay. Well, I'm a subject matter expert in podcasting, I guess.
Yeah, but you're not going to be as smart as Alan is about SSDs.
No, never. I'm sorry. I misunderstood you.
So how does the next person get to that level in that particular field without having gone through the same?
Couldn't AI help you learn all that?
I mean, it could, but that's not the same as experience.
And it's not the same as like critical thinking. Did you guys hear about the David Eggers went to OpenAI? To do the speech, and he spent the entire time saying, "You guys are ruining the world." But the one thing he said is that ChatGPT is silencing an entire generation.
Right.
And I think about that because schools are starting to push AI tools, and in colleges it's already a problem, and we don't know what impact this is going to have on education for at least the current generation of kids. And
How does
people
it
in college,
silence people?
Well, because it means, I think there's a lot of offloading going on versus critical thinking, right?
Well,
Like,
there are a
even
lot of
if you-
kids, which they need to knock this off, who are saying, I don't need to study or learn anymore because I can just use AI. Now, knock it off, kids, if you're doing that, because that is a bad
that's what
idea.
the tool is. You're giving them this thing that gives all the answers,
Well,
right?
people
And you're
said the
telling
same
you gotta
thing when
learn
you
how to
had
use it.
Google
Calculator.
search, right? Oh, now
Calculator.
everybody doesn't have to. Nobody has to go to the library anymore. How are the kids ever going to learn?
Well, I mean,
Calculator.
You need to adapt to the new way.
except those things that, like the calculator is a good example, right? The calculator, yeah, it gives you the answer, and to be really great in a math heavy field, you have to actually know what you're doing, right, to get those answers. Except now we've created this thing that also offloads critical thinking and creative thinking in ways that could be potentially dangerous.
Yeah, it could
I
be.
saw people talking about this on Blue Sky, like even the act of like bullshitting a paper, right? Say you had a paper due the next day, you had to write 5 to 10, pages on something, and you barely knew the subject. The act of BSing your way through that paper at least teaches you something. You gain
that's my entire
something
academic
from that
career.
subject versus kind of just like slopping up everything that the AI will tell you.
Yeah.
Anthony Nielsen, our creative director and a very proficient AI user, says AI is both a shortcut and a tool to learn, but humans are wired to take the shortcut. So knock it off.
What happened with the OpenAI thing is like it wanted it didn't want to figure out the answers, right? It wanted to go figure out where to just steal the answer. So
Yeah,
kind of
it took the
amazing.
shortcut too.
Yeah, AI did the same thing.
So humans are going to do this, and we can't just. There is so little preparation for teachers, for professors. Like there are professors saying, my entire class is using AI to write papers and to do things. I can't stop this. I have no way to stop this. I can't really detect this. What do I do? All these companies kind of threw us into the situation.
Kids cheat too, right? I mean, you just have to
tough.
explain to kids, you're cheating yourself. Yes, you're going to get the grade, but you're cheating yourself. This is
Is
your
it cheating?
chance, your one chance to get an education.
I know
Get
it's
it.
not exactly the same thing, but is it cheating to use a power saw instead of a hand saw? There are people who actually
or
think
ride a
that.
bicycle instead of walking, or drive a car instead of riding a bicycle.
Well,
Like, those
although if
don't-
you're riding a bicycle in a foot race, you are cheating. It depends on what it is you're trying to accomplish. There are
Exactly.
people who think it's artisans who believe you should be using hand tools, but that's not how we build
Here's the
houses
thing.
today.
for specific things, yeah.
There are artisans who will continue to use hand tools
for
because
them.
that's their art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When there were a lot of people in North Carolina who worked in the furniture business, building furniture, beautiful, wonderful, better furniture than you get today. Gorgeous stuff. But when automation came in, they lost their jobs.
Yep.
And we now have cheap furniture that falls apart in a few years. There are still people who hand make furniture, but it's very, very expensive. If you care about having furniture that's going to last, you'll go to artisans to get that built for you. That's the way of the world. Technology comes along and changes things.
It's different. It's not.
And
just
you can,
like,
by the way,
if
you can't stop it. You're not going to be able to stop it.
I
You
don't,
might
I don't
not like
this
it.
line of thinking. Like here, we stopped the nuclear proliferation to a certain degree once we realized it could explode the world. Right? We collectively, as a
Right.
society, it was like, hey, this is not a great thing. That everybody should have these world-ending, missiles, and at least something was done to try to like rein that in. Alan, I'm sure you could probably talk more about that, but I do think we have to think about the proliferation of AI as something on that level, right? It's not just a tool.
Yeah.
It's not just the bicycle. It's not.
It
just
should
the
be treated like the
calculator.
atomic bomb. You think?
It is a thing that can potentially obliterate the way we think, the way we.
That's
create,
the debate going on right now. Washington would like to
Yes.
shut down open models. China was apparently thinking about that, although President Xi, I thought, gave a very good speech, believe it or not, at the AI summit last week, in which he basically said, we believe in open AI. We believe in open models. And actually, if you're China, that makes a lot of sense.
But also, like China wants to do this because it means awesome levels of productivity, right? Every worker can all of a sudden do a crap ton more, and that's what the corporate level of AI adoption wants. I do think we are starting to lose something fundamentally human about how we read and how we explore and how we create things, and that's why I'm worried about AI when it comes to schools. We have no idea what we're doing. we just drop this tool on teachers, on administrations. They are not prepared for it pedagogically. Like, we don't know how to really incorporate AI into education, and it's just going to land there, and an entire generation of kids is going to go through school with this heavy like AI tool usage.
Yeah,
it's sort of like the thing that happened when they were teaching the skill to teach kids how to read, right? The way we taught kids how to read in America. Now there's a lot of people going to look back like, oh, maybe we should have maybe that wasn't the best way.
Well, they're pulling back now on putting laptops in classrooms, right?
I mean, I can see why. My daughter is going through that right now, and especially Chromebooks. Like whatever we thought Chromebooks could do, like those, it depends on how it's used, and a lot of school districts can barely even get that right. So now you have this AI, you have AI as something that could completely destroy the way kids learn, or at least like change it in ways that we're not prepared for. That's an even bigger deal. Like, I do feel like the problem is this stuff was just dumped on everybody, right? And we are just like holding on to the armrest, trying to figure out how to like deal with it.
But going back to my hand tool analogy, I mean, where is it written that we have to do things the way we've always done them? You know, where is it written that we have to know how to write? I know that sounds absurd, but I mean, especially the guy who made his living as a writer.
Yeah.
But the point is that just because I made my living as a writer doesn't mean that Johnny and Susie necessarily have to learn those skills any more than I need to have to remember how to do long division anymore. I mean, I've long forgotten how to do long division. I don't care because
we've had dark ages before. Right? Like, what brings about the Dark Ages? If you go see the Odyssey at the, you know, like the way Nolan has kind of like told his story of the Odyssey, it is very much about a civilization falling apart, and even towards the end, like, no spoilers, but there's a reference to like, oh yeah, people will forget how to write. Our stories will be told to the people.
Socrates worried about that. Socrates wrote about he wrote about how the quill is going to destroy memory. Actually, not they forget about. He worried that the quill destroy memory. I actually have a presentation that's on Connect Safely, which is the history of technopanics, moral technopanics.
Yeah.
And you know, everywhere along the line, the telegraph, the radio, obviously the railroad, every single technology that's come along,
for sure,
there have been critics. The word Luddite had to do with people who are worried about looms. And
well, they were worried about their jobs. They were worried about like their very existence.
You know,
like,
there
they
were
didn't
people
hate
who wrote articles about railway madmen. That women shouldn't ride railroad trains because men will go crazy from the speed and attack.
For sure.
them. You know,
there were bad societal responses to all this stuff. My thing is, this is nuclear level. This is in terms of like, it's not just another tool. It's the brain is being offloaded. Our thinking. Our ability to create, like what a lot of these companies want. They spent years trying to get us interested in generative AI images and generative AI video. Sora just completely died because there was no real market for it. We need actual human creativity, right? Like the reason the Odyssey and other stories have been around for so long is like we need stories. We need human thought. I think like there is something that worries me.
I love it that Devindra...
I'm much more of an optimist than you are.
Devindra is the young guy here. You and I, Larry, are the old guy.
I'm 42 years old. I'm not
young. You're young. Trust me.
I'm 42.
Compared to us.
I'm mostly gray.
And the old guys are the ones saying, this is exciting. The future is great. And the young guys going, oh, man, you kids today.
You and
your long hair and rock and roll. Cover story of the Atlantic magazine this month. The end of reading is here. Rose Horowitz said, optimists once believed universal literacy was inevitable. Now it seems the age of reading might be a short anomaly in human history because we're all moving to video. Look at the world's changing. Technology's changing it faster than ever. I mean, that's the thing that scares people the most about AI is it's changing.
I mean, Leo, that's part of the reason I got out of doing reviews was because the written part of that was a dying art, and that was like a decade ago.
We used to think that the best way, and it did used to be the best way for us to promote our network was to do lots of reviews that would get searched for on YouTube, and then people would see them and they would promote the network. Nobody does that anymore. It's dead. But it's dead in my lifetime. It's dead in the last 15 minutes. That's what's so amazing about the speed with which this is happening. I started writing reviews for Byte Magazine. That's how I got started in technology in the early 80s.
Yep.
Nobody
Yeah, me
writes
too.
or reads.
I mean, I
reviews
should be going
anymore.
all in on short form video at this point, right? I should just stop writing.
Absolutely. You should be a TikTok guy.
I'm
The
trying
problem
to
is
do
that-
things. Yeah.
The problem is, Leo, when you were writing for Byte Magazine, even if we didn't know who Leo Laporte was, we knew who Byte Magazine was, and we knew
Right.
they had some standards, that they didn't just hire anybody off the street.
That's probably what happened to
So,
reviews.
like, for example, my
You're right.
good friend Walt Mossberg, I don't agree with everything he said back when he was a journalist, but I agreed with the fact that when he said it, he was a trustworthy guy who put
Right.
some research into it, and
Right.
I could trust. And the same thing with Dvorak, anybody who I trust. And that was the beauty of the legacy media companies. They only hired people who were competent for the
But
most.
aren't we learning though that we trusted the New York Times, we trusted
Yeah, I
these,
know.
and aren't we learning in fact that they probably weren't all that trustworthy?
They hired me. They couldn't have been that trustworthy.
And then let's take another break. No more AI. We got other stories. Google made a ton of money. Actually, it's an AI story. Never mind.
See,
We'll
it's
talk
all
more.
gonna be AI.
It's all an AI story.
You said no more AI. I was like, well, there goes the rest of the show.
There
We might
goes
as
the
well
rest
just,
of the
can
show.
it right
This is
now.
our lives.
I got an email from somebody who's a longtime listener. He says, I can't listen to the show anymore. I don't even know what you guys are talking about. This is, when the iPhone came out, I got a lot of email from people saying, will you guys stop talking about the iPhone? But we knew this was going to change everything. It did. 2007 was a watershed
All your
moment.
listeners have to do is take the MP3 of this broadcast, put it into Gemini, and it will explain to them in simple language what we've been trying to say.
Actually, I did that. I got in a big fight with Paris, who, much like you, Devendra, is skeptical on our AI show about all of this, had very much your point of view. And I really got my dander up, and I put the transcript of it into my agent, and I said, "Was I wrong?" I said, "Yeah, you were so wrong." And it gave me, and it said, "This is the apology you should give to Paris. Let me explain why you overclaimed. Here's what's true. Here's what's not true." It was actually really and because it came from a machine, not my wife,
Oh yeah.
who also said the same
it's just,
thing.
It's just cold truth, right? It's just like
It was like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. Didn't get my hackles up so much. I just saw a Pew study that said some huge number of people now turn to AI for advice and counsel.
Oh,
and,
absolutely.
This has become maybe, again, it's kind of sort of because same thing with doctors. There aren't enough therapists to go around. There aren't enough.
Can't afford therapists.
There isn't enough
let
medical
alone
insurance to go
doctors.
around.
Yeah. And so we are sort of turning to AI for those things. I don't know if it's bad. I'm sure
It
there
says
is.
something about our society that this is where we are.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah.
I'm more bullish. I'm very optimistic, but partly it's because of my own experience with it has been so powerful and life-changing.
But
and
I want to make one
effective.
comment. So I was around in the 60s when fellow Berkeley students and Harvard students were experimenting with LSD. And for the most part, we had a pretty good experience.
That was me.
Experimenting.
And we thought we thought like everything's changed.
But as it turned
Blew my
out,
mind.
when it got in the hands of millions and millions of people, it was a little
Not so
different
good.
than Berkeley and Harvard students. And I'm
Yeah.
not trying to be an elitist here,
Yeah.
but Leo, you are smarter than the average bear, and I'm a little
I'm
nervous
definitely
saying
smarter
this.
than a bear. I
Yeah,
agree.
well, barely, but no, I'm a little nervous saying this.
I will grant you that. Not smarter than Devendra or Alan or you, but the
when you
bear, yeah, I'll
put
go for
this in
that.
the general population, and as much as I hate to agree with Devendra, when you put this out to millions or billions of people who don't have the education, the critical thinking skills, whatever it is that you have,
I think that's kind of patronizing. I think
it is patronizing. I
That's my
admit
worry.
It's
that.
patronizing, but it's necessary.
It's
Yeah.
patronizing, but it's not
true.
really true.
it's too good for you guys.
No,
I
not
think
that.
it's quite
just
the
that-
opposite. I think this is going to empower people
That's my hope.
in a way that they've never been empowered before. And it's, to me, very exciting. But again, we'll see. A lot of people think there's going to be an AI bubble is going to burst. I don't think it is. I think this is
Oh
the
yeah, all
most
these companies
important,
are making a full profit, Leo. They're
We don't-
fully
well, we don't
sustainable
know.
businesses.
because none of them are public yet.
Well,
But
some of them, Google is.
Yeah.
well, Google's making a lot of money, and the market
Meta
doesn't
is
like
on the
it.
cloud.
All right, let's take a break. We'll talk about that. I'll just give you a hint. It's a lot of money. You're watching This Week in Tech. Alan Malventano, smarter than the average bear. Larry Magid, smarter than the average bear. Devendra Hardawar, smarter than the average bear. Me, I'm the average bear. Our show today brought to you by Hawks Hunt. As a security leader, you've been there. The eye rolls during training. Oh, not another fake fish. The one-size-fits-all phishing simulations that your employees spot from a mile away. Really? Really? And the report button that gets ignored more often than not. Your programs are running, but it's not changing employee behavior. Meanwhile, they're out there. AI is making real attacks more convincing by the day. And leadership is coming to you saying they're starting to ask the question that you don't have a clear answer to. Is this actually working? Hox Hunt is built to answer that. Hox Hunt, Hoxhunt. It's like Fox Hunt with an H. Hox Hunt empowers your employees to spot and stop advanced phishing attacks. And Hox Hunt drives measurable behavior change through personalized, and this is part of the key, gamified micro-training powered by AI and behavioral science. I should probably explain all this. Oh, I should also say, for you admins, Hox Hunt does all the hard work. It does the heavy lifting. The simulations run automatically, not just email, but Slack and Teams as well. So it comes in through the channels that these fishes come in. It's personalized to each employee based on role, location, and behavior. That can really trip them up. Every simulation is already using AI to mirror real-world attacks, which means it's always updated to mirror the real-world attacks of today, not last week. Meaning employees are being tested on what's, actually getting through, not some outdated template that they go, oh yeah, that again. And it's fun for them. Gamified training keeps the engagement high. No one ever learned from being punished. It doesn't feel punitive. It feels like fun. It feels like you're learning. It feels great. And because every interaction generates a coaching moment, you're not just tracking completion. You're doing what you need to do, which is building behavioral indicators that tell a real story so leadership goes, oh, it's working. You've got reporting rates. You've got repeat clicker reduction. You've got time to report. You've got the kind of metrics that hold up when leadership asks those hard questions. But you don't have to take my word for it. There are 3,500 verified reviews on G2. Because of these incredible reviews, Hox Hunt is the top-rated security training platform, recognized for best results and easiest to use. It's also recognized as a customer's choice by Gartner, and it's used by thousands of companies. Qualcomm, DocuSign, Nokia. Trust Hox Hunt to train millions of employees worldwide. Visit hoxhunt.com/security now today to learn why modern secure companies are making the switch to Hox Hunt. That's hoxhunt.com/security now. Why? Because we need security now. hoxhunt.com/security now. We thank them so much for their support of This Week in Tech. Alphabet's profits, quarterly report out this week. Profit quadrupled. Can you say 400% in one quarter? 100. Nice. This is profit. $112 billion in 3 months. And, Google says it's because our investments in AI are paying off. It's funny because I don't think anybody thinks Gemini, I know you use Gemini gems, but I don't think anybody thinks Gemini is the best AI out there, but it is widely used by real people. Maybe that's why.
It's built into all
they're all being used more and more.
Yeah, and it's in search.
Yeah.
Right?
Search, it's in Google Docs, it's everywhere, yeah.
The stock market, however, was a little skeptical because of Google's CapEx, its expenditure to build that AI. Revenue was up, but so was the amount of money they're spending. Let me see if I can find the CapEx expenditures here. I'm looking at the New York Times report. Google estimated spending would be, now they had said, I think 180 billion last quarter. They now think it's going to be 195 billion to 205 billion this year. That's double what they spent last year. Yeah, the earlier projection was 190. So they're going, we're going to spend even more. Senator Pichai said, our AI investments are redefining what's possible across every part of our business. I know I'm saying Google, it's Alphabet, but it's Google, right? Alphabet, okay. Mm-hmm. But does anything else in Alphabet's portfolio matter? No. Google Search, Google Ads, Google AI. Google said in June it was raising $80 billion to fund its data center projects. It did that by selling stock. That was before they raised their spending forecast. Stock markets, as a result, punished Google's stock price. I actually didn't look to see if they came back in the rest of the week, but they went down sharply when they announced this. Let me just look real quickly at their last 5 days. They're you know what? They're coming back up a little bit. They're coming back up.
Were they wondering, should Google have paid out dividends or something?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things Google does, right? To they buy back stock. They give you dividends. Google is currently worth $3.9 trillion. We are in the era of, $4 trillion companies at this point. Apple's worth more than $4
billion man. Yeah.
It's amazing. But is it a bubble? It's going to all pop and these companies are going to go worthless, down to nothing.
Not Google, but
Google's
the others could be bad.
Google's current stock price, $319. That's off from $404, their 52-week high. So, yeah, the market's not excited about the amount of money they're spending.
Isn't it great as we face a climate apocalypse that we're just burning through resources and money to build AI, data centers? It's awesome.
Zero emissions thing we were talking about? Yeah, not so much.
All their environmental goals, everybody's gone.
Shot.
I mean, Microsoft bought that reactor plant.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Microsoft's saying we're going to slip. We're not going to make our goals. Google's saying we're going to slip. We're not going to make our goals. But climate change, people, that's all. That was so yesterday.
That's a problem for my children.
Yeah, that's your kids. That's not, my kids are already out of that. Anyway, now that was the very good news. The bad news is the EU is now going to fine Google $1 billion.
Yeah.
Good.
This, they've been going back and forth. They've decided, we're going to fine you for prioritizing our own services and search. This all started with Google Shopping. This is a European shopping company. Said Google isn't putting us high enough in the search results. Google said it would consider appealing the penalty. President of Global Affairs, Kent Walker, said, "This isn't fair competition. It's product degradation driven by a small group of self-serving complainants, with European businesses and consumers taking the hit. You'll be sorry, EU." The funny thing is, the EU had just fined AliExpress, Alibaba, for fraudulent advertising. The biggest penalty yet. 550 million euros. It was the biggest penalty for about 2 days. AliExpress failing to stop the sale of fake and unsafe goods. Well, isn't that why we go to AliExpress? Isn't that exactly what we want? So that 550 euro fine was dwarfed by Google.
Europeans take counterfeiting very seriously.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Don't try to sell a fake bag in Florence. You'll get a
Meanwhile,
€10,000 fine.
The U.S. administration is saying, you fine our guys, we're going to tariff the hell out of you. If anybody's going to punish big tech, it's going to be us, not you guys.
Except barely. Except not.
But we're a little.
But only if they don't kiss the golden ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of kissing the golden ring,
Oh boy.
Apple is being sued. Apple's being sued by customers because now this is interesting. I wonder if this case will go very far. I don't know. Customers say that you allowed a fake Bitcoin wallet, actually there were several, in the App Store, and we lost a total of $1.8 million due to this fake wallet, and it's your fault, Apple, because you're supposed to protect us.
It wasn't Trump coin, was it?
No, it's a Bitcoin wallet called Sparrow Wallet. It's, by the way, not just the App Store. Oh, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. There is a real, I'm sorry, I don't want to confuse people. There is a real wallet app called Sparrow Wallet. It's available on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux, not iOS. Scammers said, oh, you know what's missing on iOS is something that looks just like Sparrow Wallet that can get people to give us their Bitcoin. So they put it on the App Store. Apple did not stop it.
Brilliant, actually.
I thought that was one of the things they were supposed to check for, honestly, in their app submissions. Is it not?
I think that's the contention of the lawsuit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they screwed up.
The complaint alleges Apple violated California's Consumer Legal Remedies Act and other laws by failing to adequately review and monitor apps distributed by the App Store, despite marketing it as a, quote, safe and trusted place to discover and download apps. That is what Apple says, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how they justify their crazy percent markup on app purchases
30%.
and everything else, right? Like that's, yeah.
The plaintiffs said, well, we trusted the fake Sparrow wallet app that we downloaded. Users found their accounts had been wiped out, their cryptocurrency assets transferred to the scammers' private wallets. The complaint says the fraud succeeded precisely because Apple exploited the consumer trust it had deliberately cultivated through decade of marketing.
Get them.
Well, you think, or will the judge say, well, I don't know. The judge might say this is Section 230, that Apple's not responsible. But Apple's saying we're going to...
They're at, like, the entire thing about the App Store is that Apple does such a great job of keeping it safe and secure, and they vet the app. So, yeah, I don't know if that'll stand.
Yeah. You can't consider Apple App Store like an open marketplace, like where anybody can submit anything.
They're not just a publisher of other. They're not like Twitter where they're just saying,
correct.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's very
curated marketplace.
It's curated. Yeah.
No, I think,
good news, because the number of apps on the App Store are doubling this year because of vibe-coded apps. They're all AI apps now.
No, great.
Yay.
What could possibly go wrong? Apple's actually not releasing the facts, but Sensor Tower, an analytics company that does this, they're pretty accurate, right, Devendra? I mean, that's the only numbers we ever have.
Yeah.
Last year, the number of new apps in the App Store grew 30% to about 600,000. In the first half of this year, new apps doubled in the first half to 560,000. So almost the same number in the first half of this year as all of last year.
I would ask how Apple's even keeping up, but of course it's probably
that's
AI,
why I think that's why stuff sneaks through. Honestly, is that they just don't have they just can't control.
They're right.
So they probably
knowing
shouldn't.
them, they wouldn't be leaning on it too much AI for the actual vetting. Like, it's from what I've heard from developers, there's a lot of human interaction with the review board.
I think there has to be.
Yeah.
But they miss stuff. For instance, one of the scams, there are a number of apps that if you install them outside of Brazil look like kind of dumb game apps. But if your IP address is from Brazil, they turn into gambling apps, which Apple bans. But, the Apple testers aren't saying, well, what happens if we use a Brazilian IP address? They don't, there's only so much you could test, I guess. If they had Alan Malventano there, he could look at the
not just reverse engineer it. Yeah.
And you could say, oh, I know what this app does.
I'm kind of surprised so I've never submitted an app for, I'm surprised that you don't have to submit your source. Like, I would have thought that you had to do that.
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't think you do. Yeah. You don't have to, Darren, right? Darren released, Darren Oki in our club, 10 plus handwritten apps back in the day. Now he's released lots of vibe-coded apps. He says his vibe-coded apps are so much better. How many? Okay. Now I'm going to have to go. He's got a link to all of his iOS apps. Darren, I trust it. Darren's amazing. Apps by Darren. So these are all vibe-coded, Darren? OL Reader, AI narrated EPUB. Look at all this. OL DJ, OL Bridge, OL4, OL Sudoku. These are better than your hand-coded apps. Darren's a professional coder. How hard is it to get these on the App Store, Darren? You don't submit source code.
There you go.
Right?
We can find out.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you don't, probably.
No, I'm sure you don't.
But I can imagine
Darren says it's getting easier.
Where you had to.
It's easier than it used to be, which maybe is the wrong direction.
Well, I mean, there's an inherent conflict, right? Because this is how Apple makes money on the App Store. One of the ways to make money.
That's a very good point.
Of many, right? So
the more apps, better for them.
More apps equals more money, right? Like, why would you not? Yeah.
Well, they only make money on apps that cost money.
True.
But, I'm sure they want more apps.
Well, if it's ad supported, they make a cut of that too.
Oh, that's right. They get a cut of the ads.
Don't they get a cut of any purchases you make on the app as well?
And any purchases,
And
in-app
purchases
purchases
in the
are the
app.
big bucks, actually.
Yeah.
Most apps are free.
Well, no, it's true. I mean, one of the things that, historically, I used to, for example, feel good about downloading software from download.com, which was run by CNET.
Oh, remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And,
man.
most of the time, this stuff was good, but not 100% of the
No,
time.
not anymore.
Yeah.
I have had conversations with executives at CBS, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we stuck so much stuff into download.com."
They admit it.
Oh man, it's amazing.
Well, download.com, pretty soon you started to have to download a downloader, which had other apps that it would install. I mean, it became,
Yeah.
if
But
you'll
it felt
excuse the
safer
expression,
than the
malware.
web, than the unregulated web. At least you felt there was someone looking over the shoulder. But, again, it was a false sense of security.
It was.
It was because those execs like totally knew that they had this platform where they could just like sneak a
Are
little.
you saying when CBS bought CNET?
Yeah, so this is Benito. I was working there. I was working there when that buyout happened, and I saw that happen in real time. I saw the enshittification of download.com happen in real time, and it was really, really sad to watch because I was a heavy user of download.com.
Same.
Sure, we all
Same,
were.
back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah, but I did start warning my listeners on the radio show pretty early on. Don't stop. Don't. No. And if,
I try to warn
if
them
any
on my radio
download site asks you to download an app to make your download go faster, just say no.
If I had known that, I would have warned them on my CBS radio show. And then I would.
You should have listened to my show, Larry, and you would have known it.
I blew it.
I have to say, I miss doing the radio show because that was unlike the shows we do here, which are aimed at enthusiasts and assume, that you understand what we're talking about when we talk about 1-bit quants. The radio show was really designed for regular people. It was a bridge to regular people to help them understand it.
This is the perspective of a lot of my reporting too. So this is why I'm very much like, I look at what regular people are going to be doing with AI, and I am a little worried. So,
speaking of regular people, I have a question: Is iOS 27 beta safe for regular people yet?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right now, the first public beta is out.
The public's out.
Always wait for the public, but this one's very stable. I've got it on everything.
Okay.
On Golden Gate. Now when you press the button for Siri, it's this pretty little, let me see, I guess I have to unlock
The
it.
thing at the island, yeah.
It's the pretty little island. And Siri's a little bit smarter than she used to be. You can actually ask her questions about your text messages and your emails and stuff, and she knows all about it.
Has anybody
This
here?
answer is going to be interesting.
You know who's really bugging is the product that Amazon has that runs on the Echo, and I won't use the word because if I use the word, everybody's Echo devices will light up. Has gotten so silly with the Plus version of it. Every time I ask,
you got to choose the right personality. You have the sassy personality.
I don't know what I've got.
No. Look, there are different personalities. There's one personality that will talk back to you, but we'll say, "Hey, A-word, set a timer for broccoli," and it'll go, "Timer for broccoli set. That's going to be a delicious meal."
Yeah, I know. It drives me nuts. Or the other thing, I'll ask it to write a routine, and it will explain to me what routines are. And I say, well, I wouldn't be asking you to write a routine. I know what a routine was.
Yeah.
Just write it.
Well, or when you ask one question, it's like, by the way, would you like to add this to your...
That I hate.
Something like,
that's
stop.
simplification.
I did not ask you for this.
Right.
Quiet down.
I think, unfortunately, that most people's experience of AI is that kind of thing. And I think that's why there is kind of this general feeling of, why are we building all these data centers so that it can sass me about my broccoli? This is a waste of money.
Yeah. And ask you questions on, I'll ask the question once to know, well, are you going to make that tonight? Do you care?
So Larry,
if anybody Amazon really
if
care
this were the radio show, we got Larry on the line from the East Bay. Larry, there is a setting in your Alexa app that you could change the personality of Alexa Plus and just change it to I think there's concise or something like that, where it's just business.
I know, but the point
There's
is,
still the Amazon alerts.
I turned on sassy and I regretted it immediately.
I mean, I want a sassy robot, but I also
who doesn't?
At what cost? At what cost?
At what cost?
I don't mind sassy, but what I do mind is when AI wants to be my friend. Didn't we say we're not going to talk about AI? Here we are.
We can't stop.
Can't
stop.
Maybe we're all AI. Maybe the listeners need to be informed.
What is real?
We still haven't gotten to Leo's wants to do that story about the DRAM and the SSD prices.
Okay, let's talk about it. Now, let me tell you,
Oh boy.
people are upset because they blame AI for the fact, well, Western Digital and I think SanDisk said we sold out our entire capacity for 2026. AI manufacturers like Micron stopped selling to consumers and then said, and we're sold out too. And Micron says, and it's going to be till 2030 before you can get any. Yeah. Alan, is that true? What's going on? Why aren't they building up capacity?
I mean, the only thing I consider fortunate is that my company got out of client, but that was because of the post-COVID dip.
Solidigm sells
it wasn't because of AI.
Solid state storage, right?
Yeah. So I previously worked on the client side of Solidigm, and that folded, 3 or 4 years back now. It's like it was a while back.
Well, that's one thing that Micron, I think, said.
Well, they got out of it. See, they got out of it right in the middle of the AI boom. So it was pretty.
Right. They said we're not going to sell. Crucial's gone. We're not going to sell.
Yeah, Crucial's gone, and it was like during the upswing, and it was pretty clear that was the reason. I think they even stated in their press release.
He even blamed Apple. He said if Apple hadn't pushed us so hard on DRAM prices in 2024, we would have been able to build out capacity. But the problem with the RAM market is it's boom and bust. And when we're in the bust, we don't have the money to build up capacity. So when it's the boom, we can't keep up. So he blamed Apple, literally. So they drove prices so low. Now that's BS, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Right. But there is a balance, right? So when you're in the middle of a bust, obviously you don't have a bunch of funds to reinvest into all of the infrastructure because you can't, if you build it, they will come for too long in a row. Case in point, Intel Optane memory, of which I have a bunch on the shelf back there. Right,
Optane,
they did that,
which they killed. You worked at Intel.
I worked at Intel during in the heyday of that, and before that I was reviewing those products, right? And I was very enthusiastic about it at the time. But of course, if there's not enough demand for the thing, and you keep building the thing, right? That's a bad way to roll a business. So that's why you would have a company like Micron that maybe not because of Apple, but the argument does stand that when times are tough, you're not necessarily going to have all the funds to invest in a bunch of capacity. And combined with a sudden boom of a thing that has a crazy demand on both DRAM and storage. I think part of I think in another universe, like the fact that it bled all the way down to hard disks is what gets me. Right. Mm-hmm. That there was, because a lot of the industry.
You mean not just SSDs, not just solid state, but spinning drives too?
Correct. Yeah. Well, when you just said Western Digital and SanDisk, like they were talking about hard drives they're sold out of. Right. And it was because the industry was moving towards solid state little by little and off of spinning rest, as I love to refer to it. But, that whole thing turned back on its head when all of a sudden the supply was dried up for SSDs seemingly overnight. Right. Then people are like, well, where am I going to put all of our stuff? Well, if not on solid state, because the price is insane, then we have to fall back to hard disk. So it puts a squeeze on the hard disk supply as well, which was already kind of winding down somewhat because
I haven't bought a spinning. The only thing I buy spinning drives for is my NAS because of capacity. I haven't bought a spinning drive
and anybody that's trying to do that now is experiencing great pain.
Yeah, they've tripled in price.
Yeah. Right.
In some cases, 6 times more. Framework, I think, is saying 6 times more for SSDs.
Is this worth it, Leo, for you to play with your agents?
Yes, and I don't care if you don't have water for your gosh darn golf courses. I don't care.
Oh boy.
Let's drain the Colorado.
Nuclear plants.
I want to write a new first-person shooter. In one prompt.
I don't get the water thing. Kind of boggles my mind. Like the water consumption thing doesn't make any sense to me. If you look at any of the real numbers on the water thing, it's not just gobbling up all the water. That's not how it works.
And almost all the data centers now are recirculating the water. They're not just spraying it on the chips and letting it evaporate.
It's not efficient to do it that way.
They don't want to do that. Some of the earlier stories, like the Google one, which they were clearly trying to hide the fact it was like Oregon or somewhere, like Google was building a data center and it was using a lot more water than the actual local municipality was. And it is true, like fresh water, which is what they still need, we don't have enough. Like for people. So the idea that we're shoving all of this and we're still dealing with the droughts in the West and the Southwest, like it does seem bad. It seems like a bad choice.
I'm going to say something here.
You shouldn't get it from the same source.
Yes.
That's the key. Is like, what
you
source
take it
are
from
you
the Colorado.
tapping into?
But I have to point out, and if you read Cadillac Desert, it's a great book. Highly recommend it. We, for decades, overbuilt in areas where there isn't any water.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we dug canals, we made dams, we provided water. Vegas is in a desert. Most of Arizona is a desert. We intentionally built there and then built massive projects to provide water for these places. But as he points out in Cadillac Desert, it never was tenable, and it was never going to last with or without AI data centers.
Humans making poor infrastructure decisions based on boom economics?
Yeah.
I wonder if that applies right now.
The economics of it were that the government wanted to build these dams. I mean, it was a crazy rationale. It made no sense. And so, there are places, there are deserts, and we are living in the deserts. This was going to happen whether or not we built data centers. I don't know why they keep building data centers in Arizona.
Yeah, people living in Colorado or along the Colorado River, like a lot of California, or at least Southern California, is also affected by this too,
Absolutely.
right? So,
absolutely.
It's rough.
It is
We're not
rough.
even talking about electricity. It's a whole other resource.
And then there's the electricity, and then there's the output. Let's just build a freaking data center with methane gas, right?
That's a mistake. I will grant you that
correct.
Elon's nuts to do that, and it's highly polluting, and it's a terrible idea.
But he
and
doesn't
it's
care
noisy.
because he doesn't care about the
He
community.
doesn't care.
It's actually affecting
because he thinks
so.
we're all moving to Mars, so he doesn't care.
Well, no, he doesn't care because it doesn't affect people like him. So that's the main thing for Elon.
I have to also point out we have a terrible grid, terribly planned because of our belief in free market. And we are suffering for other reasons than data centers. This is not a good, our electrical system is awful. And there are countries like China that invested heavily in sustainable energy and solar power who are doing just fine.
Yeah.
It's
by
going
the
to
way,
be
it's
China's
not
next
just
100 years. Yeah.
It's not just AI. I hate to say it because we're streaming this program, but streaming.
Do you like the internet? Guess where you're getting it from?
I know.
A data center.
But Netflix uses an enormous amount of
course,
electricity.
Everything we do today in the modern world uses data centers. It's
but at
not
least
just
those are things that are actively being used by consumers and like delivers a certain sense of good to them, right? The thing is, we are building a crap ton of AI data centers for potential AI usage by consumers. We're seeing some of it, but talk to Microsoft about how Copilot's doing.
You think
and how Copilot
Stranger Things and the Dink are worth it, but creating useful AI tools are not.
It's not at the same scale. Those data centers are certainly not at the same scale, but also that was delivering a thing people actually wanted. And the thing I keep hearing from AI skeptics and like general people like who is asking for any of this? And that's the thing, like I've noticed with Windows users as well. That was the main pushback of Copilot, and even Microsoft has scaled that back.
But that was pushed down people's throats. I mean, that really
why is there a Copilot in Microsoft Paint? What if I don't want to engage with this thing? And that's kind of the big problem there.
Well, I do not deny that the AI companies have really screwed themselves. I mean, look what Anthropic did with Mythos. The reason Mythos and Fable were banned is because Anthropic scared the hell out of everybody. And the Trump administration said, oh boy, we better stop this. These AI companies are fairly inept, partly because I think they have a worldview that doesn't match normal human.
Yeah. Again, which is why I'm worried that these are the companies building these models.
No, that's why I use Chinese models, because those are good.
Those are good. Even though there are reports that some Chinese models are stealing from other models, and you know what? I don't care because those existing models
they're all stolen.
Based on IP
give me
theft,
a break. Anthropic says we stole everybody's data, but you can't steal that back.
Have you guys had like a true AI believer on though, Leo? Like the people who are like, we are building the AGI.
Believer.
We are building the second.
Oh no, I don't believe in
AGI.
No, I don't believe in that.
That's what all these companies, like you talk about Dario Amado, like that guy believes in insane things. Like this is a full-on religion for a lot of these folks.
I'll tell you what I think the right solution long-term is for open weight models, small language models that are purpose-built. If we built a model just for Larry's CAT scan, so that that these smaller models you could run locally, they would it wouldn't require giant data centers. I think the research they're doing on things like self-improving models, better post-training, there's all sorts of things. NVIDIA's building chips that are, 3 or 4 times more efficient than the current crop of chips. There'll be progress in a lot of areas that isn't Anthropic and OpenAI.
And also, it can be more accurate. That model designed to analyze CT scans shouldn't have access to the entire internet.
No.
So it can go hallucinate. It should only
doesn't need to know who won Wimbledon in 1925.
Well, my point is but it also doesn't need to know some crackpot who interprets CT scans as being something that they aren't.
That's an issue also. You want to keep that stuff
if it only has vetted information, it's going to give you better information. Maybe not as much, but probably better quality.
Okay, that's the last AI story. Wait a minute, there's one more.
That's what you say.
Anthropic, that did admit, as every AI company has done, to ingesting a bunch of books, pirated. Actually, Anthropic did 2 things. Some of the books they bought, scanned, and then threw out. So that, and those, the judge said, that's fine. That's fair use.
Wait, the fact they bought 1 copy?
Yeah, they bought it. But the trouble they got was in the pirated database. The judge has now approved a settlement for $1.5 billion to go to authors, like $3,000 a book. Did you apply for your
I
benefits?
Did.
Being an AI enthusiast, I did not.
I did, but the problem is my books, I don't think anybody wants to pirate my Windows XP book.
Well, 2 of my books, I've written 13. 2 of them were in the database. Now, of the $3,000, had I applied for it, some goes to the publisher, some goes to my co-authors, but it wasn't about the money. It was like, I'm glad that these crappy books I wrote 20 years ago have a new life in AI. I don't mind. Scan away. Anyway, there are plenty of authors who are going to get the money. 350 opted out, hoping that they could sue further, but the rest are settling with Anthropic. So
I haven't heard a word. I don't even know if I'm getting a dime. I don't know if my book
you will.
is worth anything.
You will. How many books were in that database of yours?
I can't remember. I've written 12. I can't remember how many are in there.
Yeah, 2 of my 13 were in there. Weirdly, though, not the best sellers. It was just kind of random.
And mine are so out of date. I haven't written anything in a while. So.
Yeah. Well, that's more likely. The older it is, there were more than 500,000 works in this pirated database. In a statement to Reuters, lead plaintiff said the settlement brings us 1 step closer to real accountability for Anthropic. No. Okay. And puts all AI companies on notice they can't shortcut the law or override creators' rights. Actually, the judge's decision was really, I think, a decision in favor of fair use.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the infringement was deemed fair use. It was just this pirated database.
I mean, if you think about it, how does any of us know anything?
We all read the books, ingest it, or
newspapers or something. Yeah. I don't have a bunch of reporters that work for me that are reporting to me what's going on in the world. I rely on. So if I tell you what's going on in the Iran war, it's because I probably read it in the New York Times or somewhere. It's not because I went to Iran to observe it.
Yeah.
And certainly not from the government's perspective.
That was the last AI story. Now we're going to take a break and come back to Devendra Hardawar, Alan Malventano, who did not fully explain why we are running out of AI, memory and storage.
It's just supply and demand. There's just too much demand for the
supply. Too much
That's
demand, too little supply.
There's your simple answer.
Very simple, yeah.
That is simple. It's not a surprise. It's called economics.
Yeah.
But it is frustrating that, I wish I had bought that 512 gigabyte Macintosh last year when I could have.
Well, I mean, I'm putting off upgrades right now. Like, I can't. Like, I literally just can't. Can't afford the DRAM.
Can't do it.
Yep.
And Larry Magid, connectsafely.org. How's the bowel? It's good, right?
Bowel's doing great, yeah.
But now your Achilles is bad.
Now,
we all looked at it earlier.
In the emergency room, I tripped over a crack in a New York sidewalk.
No.
I thought I sprained my ankle, but it turned out I must have ruptured my Achilles.
Wait a minute, you injured yourself on the way to the emergency room for something else?
For something else, I know. It's a long, crazy story. But bottom line is I got to go into surgery on
it's kind of appropriate. You should go see the Odyssey before you go in for Achilles surgery.
No Achilles in the Odyssey. But
No.
Oh, he's not in the Odyssey?
no.
Oh,
Well,
that was
the real
the
heel.
Iliad,
I'll tell you, the real heel.
Damn it!
Yeah, I mean,
But the Trojan horse is from the Aeneid, so it's all mushed together.
It's an interconnected story. That was the MCU of its time.
Did you see it yet, Devendra?
I've seen it 3 times.
3?
It's a very good movie.
Okay, I got to get there.
We should talk about it because it's also very
this.
anti-AI, and I think I kind of love it.
Christopher Nolan
we're not
hates
supposed
it.
to talk about AI anymore.
No, but we can talk about it like how bad it is. We can talk about that. That'll make it.
That's all he's talking.
Thanks for watching Twit, regardless. This show brought to you by Superhuman Go. A lot of us were promised that AI would make work easier, but somewhere along the way, it started feeling like just one more thing to manage. Another tab open, another app to check, another place to copy and paste information just to get a simple answer. That's why more people are turning to Superhuman Go. What is it? Well, Superhuman Go is an AI chat that's always there when you need it, already aware of what you're doing, and doesn't ask you to start from zero. Instead of forcing people into another app or another workflow, it works where they already work. Go's AI chat sits on the side of the browser. It's always ready to help you do the things you need to do, draft emails and messages, summarize long threads and documents. It doesn't get in your way. It's there to help. It helps you search across apps without leaving the page you're on. That's nice because, context switching, as soon as you go through a doorway, your brain goes, whoop, new context and loses everything. But Superhuman Go is following you. It's there. No new tabs, no switching apps, no losing your place. When you need it, it's there. When you don't, it's out of your way. It's designed to help people stay focused and work like the best version of themselves without the friction, without the context switching, without the busy work, all the things that drain time and attention throughout the day. I think that's what exhausts people about AI, not Superhuman Go. Whether it's prepping for meetings in seconds or catching up on conversations quickly or following up without starting from scratch, Go keeps up so people can keep moving forward. And because Superhuman Go, by the way, from the makers of Grammarly, which we love here at Twit, we've been using that for years, Superhuman Go works across the tools and sites people already use. It's browser, inbox, docs, project tools. It fits naturally into the way the work already happens, just like Grammarly does, right? It handles the repetitive tasks so people can focus on the work only they can do, the human work, right? Check it out. Find out more at superhuman.com. That's superhuman.com. We thank them so much. They make a great product, and they have taken the next step with Superhuman Go, and it's really amazing. Superhuman.com. So, what was it? $265 million the Odyssey grossed in its first week. Huge. Is it Christopher Nolan's biggest movie ever? I think it is. You're muted, I think, Devendra.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
His biggest movie
go on
ever.
and on about the Odyssey now.
I can. It is
70 millimeter IMAX. Did you see it? The film version of it?
I saw it 70 millimeter normal, so like a normal size theater. I saw it 70 millimeter IMAX at the Regal Mall of Georgia, one of the few theaters that can project that.
Yeah, there's only a few dozen, right? Totally.
Yeah, and I saw it in digital IMAX as well, which is still a very big screen, but not like the full.
Which format did you prefer?
Obviously, the 70 millimeter IMAX, but it is worth a journey of your own to make it out to go see that. I wrote about that in Engadget. I've seen people drive several hours, book a hotel stay just to get to a theater that plays the Odyssey. It is so wild that there are so few true IMAX theaters around, and even like fewer that can do 70 millimeter film projection.
Well, because it's so expensive, both for the theater and for the filmmaker, only somebody like Christopher Nolan can really do it.
And this is the first film fully shot in 70 millimeter IMAX.
So Oppenheimer, I saw that. Oppenheimer, which was on 70 millimeter, wasn't fully 70 millimeter.
It wasn't fully. Like he's done more and more. It started with The Dark Knight for him, but like he's slowly added more and more.
The Dark Knight was weird because it would switch back and forth, and I did not like that.
All the movies would kind of do that a bit. He's the one that popularized IMAX as like a big thing because he's an analog film guy, and that was the best high quality analog film, technology available. But what's weird is that it's a dying technology. You know, like they're not building more projectors. They're not building more cameras. So IMAX eventually will have to go fully digital on something, but nothing can really touch like it's like a 12 to 16K effective resolution.
You can tell.
That film. It's very clear. Like seeing it at the full projection, it is otherworldly because it's like you are being transported to another world. Everything looks obscenely clear, and there are a lot of like large
by the
vista
way,
shots. Yeah.
That's what I didn't like about Oppenheimer, because I'm looking up Cillian's nose. I saw Oppenheimer on the 70mm film, and then I went home and watched it on my nice TV with a nice setup, and I preferred it because I could follow the story on a normal size screen. And IMAX is all about that. The picture, right?
It is. This is a much better use of IMAX than Oppenheimer was.
Because it's spectacle, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. That was movies mostly conversations of people inside small rooms, you know. And this is
that's not good.
You get the full spectacle of it, and also you get like scenes with thousands of extras, scenes with thousands of people doing things that take real human effort. So obviously there's CG somewhere, but they didn't like go and like green screen large portions of this movie. It's not like filmed on the volume like so much of the Marvel and Star Wars stuff these days. It feels real and authentic, and it's a story that's relevant to our times, but also, man, it does make me think humans did this. This is a story we've been retelling for 3,000 years. Homer wrote down a version of it.
But did it really? You think it really happened?
No. Leo.
Oh, okay.
Leo.
So humans made the movie, not humans.
This is their Marvel universe. They're like gods and stuff in this. There's a Cyclops.
Okay,
I mean, maybe the oral storytelling was like based on a city that could have been something like Troy. Like there are probably bits of reality.
I've been to what they say, which Schliemann discovered and said was Troy. And they say, well, we don't really know.
We don't know.
But they did put a giant wooden horse out front, so you think it's Troy.
But it is amazing to see like one of the oldest recurring stories we've had as a species in a crowded theater with the like latest technology that we have.
And it worked.
This is a story that persists, and for a reason.
It worked.
It works. It absolutely works. So I saw it 3 times because, first of all, the first time I saw it was for a press screening. I had to go back to see it in full IMAX. And I was not bored one bit. This is a 3-hour movie that like moves like gangbusters. So I went back to watch it again because my wife didn't get to see it. So I did that on vacation. Even took some vacation time to see it again.
That's ironic because, of course, as Burke says, it's the whole story is the one Homer made up when he wanted to leave his wife. So, honey, there were sirens and cyclopses. I couldn't get back fast enough. It took me a long time to get home. He was out drinking with the boys. Come on.
Definitely Leo, everybody. Like Leo, you can get to the Metreon, which happens.
I'm going to go to the Met. That's where I saw Oppenheimer. But this is the problem.
Yeah.
Go look. It's sold. I mean, it's not sold out, but all that's left is front row or the. I mean, the problem with the IMAX is not only that there are only something like 20 70mm film IMAXs, but there is only a small number of seats that you want, right? You want the middle of the middle, kind of.
You want the middle or the back, but it depends on the theater. Like I was second row at the Regal Mall of Georgia, and it was actually, I'm a front row kind of weirdo in general. Like I love to be up close whenever I can for any theater, but even for that one, like you could still see the entire picture. And the way Nolan frames it is that it's really the center of the frame that he focuses on, because that's what they crop into for the smaller film formats. Right. So if you're looking there and then peripherally, there's a huge sky or there's more sea below, you don't have to look at everything all at once. So even if you're close, you'll get a good experience there, I think.
All right. I'm just waiting until I don't have to sit in the front row, because my neck, it's like...
I would also recommend keeping look daily for tickets, like for a day you're free, because people cancel tickets and sometimes things will pop up.
I was thinking of going at 8 in the morning, but even then, there's no seats.
There are midnight screenings, there are 3 a.m. screenings, and they're all being sold out.
Yeah, you can't, because everybody's got they're really only probably in each theater maybe 100 good seats.
Is this going to be the best box office of all times? It
could be.
It 265 million in the first week. Yeah,
and the IMAX tickets are so much more expensive, and I think it seems like people are really digging this. I have no idea why Oppenheimer became such a phenomenon. I thought that movie was fine, but not like the $1 billion blockbuster turned out to be.
It was fine for home. Right. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how long before this streams. It'll be quite a while, I'm sure.
Will you even want to watch it at home?
Yeah, that's is it something you'd want to watch at a stream?
Yeah.
It's a great movie, so like you would have a good time watching it at home, but the whole point is to be, I think, overwhelmed by it, and also like, hey, when last have you been to a fully jam-packed theater filled with people like enjoying a story that feels so generationally important? And the angle he takes here is also very much like relevant to today. You can totally read like today's headlines into how he frames the Odyssey.
The movie theater in Mountain View that I go to is often empty, so I'm sure.
Man.
Well, this is what I thought. Movies were dead. Our local theater in Petaluma, nobody was ever there. There were rats. It was terrible. Mm-hmm. But they put in an IMAX, not the big IMAX. You know, IMAX could be, there's a lot of different things IMAX could be, but it's a giant screen. Yeah. They put in a weird one called Screen X, where the walls become part of the screen.
I hate Screen X, but
I know it's weird. Yeah. And then they put in the stadium seating and the trays and the things, and they serve liquor and
they come around with food. Probably.
But now they're sold out.
Good.
And it's young people. Young people have always been the main audience for movies, I think. But it's young people, and they want to go to the movies again, which I think is very interesting.
And it's the young people who are also like not really getting into AI as much as I think a lot of these companies want to.
So there's
I got my girlfriend to hold my hand when I was a teenager.
There you go.
Larry, did you do the stretch? And then you just put your arm around her very like suavely and coolly.
I'm not going to tell you or AI what I did. I'm sorry.
I do. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. I'm not.
You have to tell the AI so they go. Give tips. Yeah.
It was definitely a few firsts.
No, but the movie theater was. That is the place we dated. That and the back seat of the car. I mean.
Yeah. So they've the gross for the first 2 weekends in week now is 286.3 million. They had another great weekend so far. They're making big bucks.
I think people are going back too, because like once you see it, if you vibe with that movie, the experience is worth.
Well, that's what I could see how it would have a very strong opening, but I was thinking the Odyssey it's 3 hours. Is this what people really want to see? I thought this might not be mass appeal, but I guess it is.
Is it worth rereading the book before you see the movie?
In case you forgot what happened.
It's been a long time since I read that book.
I spent a large portion of time in high school, like translating the Aeneid and the Odyssey. So
from the original Greek.
I did the Aeneid from Latin, and we did portions of the Odyssey in Latin, not from Greek. So it was a Latin class. So it was not original, but it was still impressed. Like we spent a lot of time studying the text and everything. And there's a reason that story has stuck around, because I think humans can read a lot into it, and certainly in our society today, it is certainly saying a lot about like the state of the world, which is surprising that no one found a really relevant way to frame that story.
It was a great way for me to fall asleep in college. And all I remember is something about a wine dark sea like 100 times.
Yeah. There is that newer translation by Emily Wilson. I have not read that.
Apparently that's a very good translation. Actually, I have that. I bought that because I've read that but it's controversial.
That's what inspired him to do this, I believe. So.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it's very controversial because it is not a word for word. It's more poetic. Mm-hmm. But that's maybe what we need.
That's how the story was told.
It was oral.
We shouldn't.
Yeah. It's an oral tradition. Yeah. Well, there's our movie review for the show. Aren't you glad we didn't cover any AI?
Well, again, anti-AI, because man, the human effort, the human power in that. Somebody released like an AI Odyssey movie ahead of the actual Nolan movie.
Elon did, and it's terrible.
He announced.
Oh no, he tweeted it. He retweeted.
He tweeted that something will happen, and we know what Elon means when something will happen. Probably never will.
It will
but
happen
some other
on
guy,
Mars.
some other like indie director had produced like.
Yeah. I forgot. We watched a little bit of it. It's. Yeah, maybe I'll show a little bit of it. It's so awful.
It astounds me, like coming at this from like I'm also like a part-time movie critic, so like looking at this from the way the tech companies are presenting entertainment. It's like, have you guys ever seen a movie? Do you know what people actually want? When something looks cold and dead, it really turns us off.
It does. Like, it's the dead eyes that kind of give it away.
I think this is the Elon Musk one.
This is the one he retweeted, right?
Retweeted.
from heavy
Even though
pulp.
people are like, the
It
ship
was built on
wheel.
Grok. That's why Elon
It's built on
retweeted
Grok.
it. Yeah.
But ship wheels are a fairly recent seafaring invention. So if you're going to be accurate to the Odyssey,
he's
you
eating a
have wheel.
potato chip. Wait a minute, or is it a Pringle? Wait a minute. Let's see what he's eating here. Hold on a second. She's gonna feed. I think that's a Pringle. I don't think they had Pringles. Oh, heavy. Heavy. Now he's drinking from the cup while the girls plant tomatoes, apparently. I don't know what's going on. At least he has 5 fingers. That's good. We've gotten past that. Will Smith can eat spaghetti. The AIs think that acting involves a lot of pauses, a lot of dramatic sighs,
Yep.
a lot of long staring into the distance. There's a hole in the rock.
Go see the real Odyssey. Go see
This is
Nolan's
not
Odyssey
it.
in a theater.
Actually,
as Nolan intended.
the fact that Elon thought, "Oh, this is so good," and posted on Twitter really underscored the gulf between the AI bros and humans.
For sure.
ISP, I love this headline from Ars Technica. ISP's long nightmare of having to list all the fees they charge is finally over. Thank God the FCC. Remember that brilliant idea the Biden administration have, the nutrition labels for your ISP so you know exactly what it cost? Well, the FCC today voted to eliminate those rules so that ISPs don't have to go through all that.
So those poor ISPs can just give you a number, a simple number.
That's all you need.
Yeah, just pay it.
The burden of listing fees. Broadband lobby group US Telecom complained to the FCC. Providers must create and update hundreds of different labels to account for geographic variability. Ensure their systems properly queue the label specific to the proper location when the customer inputs their address. You don't think they do that when they send you the bill?
Right.
Oh, it's so much extra work. No, you're already going to do that when you bill me, for crying out loud. Well, the FCC, we know who they work for. They've always worked for. The government lawyers now say the Trump administration can use TikTok again. So that's
of course, it's run by his buddy
on their government phones. Yeah,
why not?
So,
Because it was TikTok was incredibly dangerous.
So dangerous,
danger which nobody has revealed to us just yet. Alan, I don't know if you have any thoughts about that one, but I'm still struck by we did this whole thing based on nothing. And it's,
I mean, I can offer. So I don't understand why government phones are doing any service of even similar to TikTok.
You shouldn't have TikTok on your government issued phone.
That's my point. It's the type of it's nothing about TikTok in particular. That's just
you shouldn't have Instagram on it. You shouldn't have Facebook on it.
Right. Exactly. That's not what the government phones are for. Just
don't you have your own gosh darn phone?
Yeah. Exactly. That's what you're supposed to use your own phone for, that kind of stuff.
Incidentally, it's still against the law. It's not like the law went away. The Trump administration said you can ignore the law.
Yeah.
Well, that's not uncommon.
That's typical. Yeah.
Yeah. There's simple concept, defense in depth. You don't have government phones with that sort of stuff shouldn't be on a government phone that you would assume is connected to a government closed network. So that means that the poor folks up in Norfolk, Virginia, sitting at Navy Cyber Defense Operations Command, for example, where I used to work back when I was calling into the show.
You were?
In my off time.
You didn't tell me that.
Oh, yeah, that's where I was working in the early days. When I did the Drobo review and took the Drobo apart, I was on the base in Little Creek, Virginia.
Did we know that?
Yeah, I think I might have said something. Okay. It was in my barracks room on the base, but
that's awesome. That's so cool.
But those poor people are going to have to try to defend the entire Navy intranet or DoD intranet from people trying to use other services that it's hard enough to defend networks as it is with all sorts of adversarial kind of stuff going on.
I gotta have my TikToks.
Yeah, I feel for those guys trying to keep the network.
Maybe
safe.
They should keep the network safe by just doing, war planning on Signal on their personal.
Oh, there you go.
That'll be so much easier.
Yeah.
Just
the problem was
Navy.
The problem was they weren't using Signal. They were using a third-party Signal compatible app.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
which
made it worse.
It wasn't secure.
Yeah. Yeah, known to be insecure, and
Known
then there
to be
were plenty of
insecure.
black hat talks on it after the fact too, right?
I mean, my question is, who do you trust least, the Chinese or the elephants, when it comes to your information? I mean,
Who are the elephants? What do you mean?
Larry
the
Ellison company.
The Ellisons. I thought you said elephants. I thought,
elephants, I would
wait a
trust.
minute.
Elephants have memory. No, Larry Ellison owns TikTok.
All of these guys,
it's like
their one interest is making more money. Like they don't have enough. That's their one interest, and they're going to use your information. They're going to sell it. Of course they are.
But they also have like political, angles, which are different than the Chinese government did. So that was my main worry. But even that was like, there was supposedly some big reason TikTok had to be sold in the U.S., and we still don't know what that is.
Well, interestingly, a judge has halted the Paramount acquisition of Warner Brothers.
Yes.
The Trump administration approved it, but the state said, "Whoa, hold on there."
You mean Barry Weiss isn't going to get to run CNN? That's good news.
It's fun watching the CNN anchors get more and more outspoken as they thought, we're going down. We got nothing to lose.
Just tell people what's happening.
We might as well just go for
the
it.
Trump administration didn't just approve it. They hand-holded this whole deal to make it happen when Netflix was the previous buyer. So.
Oh, did you hear what Trump said about CBS, about a regime change at CBS, a enemy of America, and now it's run by good people? I mean,
Notice when ABC and NBC did not carry the presidential primetime address about how the election was stolen in 2020. That he said they should have their licenses revoked.
Right.
You didn't mention CBS.
No, CBS is a friend of theirs now.
Friend.
Yeah.
Friend of the family.
He loves CBS.
All right, one more commercial, and then let's talk about prices, money, and other stuff. Actually, speaking of money, the AI industry has now spent $65 million on the campaigns in November.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder what they're lobbying for.
Oh, I know.
I thought you were going to say
huge.
during this podcast.
Well, yeah, during this podcast, they've spent
They want favorable regulation.
They want favorable language. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is saying we need an AI kill switch. I bet you'd like that, Devendra, wouldn't you? There should be a big button in the White House that says "Stop
Maybe
the
not
AI."
in the White House.
I wouldn't want it in today's White House. Can we put it somewhere else?
Well, where do you put it?
Put it
Give
in
it
your
to
place.
Alan. Alan, would you like that button in your basement?
I'll take the button. I got a button here somewhere.
Just don't put it next to the "that was easy" button and confuse the two.
That's the button I was going to find.
I have one over here if you want. We'll have more in just a little bit. You're watching This Week in Tech. Devendra Hardawar, always good to see you. I'm glad to have you on to talk some sense into me.
I got to be the crank now, Leo, so I'm going to crank it up.
I just think it's so funny that the old guy is saying, "I love the future," and the young guy's going, No.
Don't do it. Don't do it, old man.
You kids today.
I went to a demonstration in Berkeley of undergraduates saying, we want to take control of our technology. We don't want these big companies.
No, the
running
kids
our
are really...
media. It's
slow tech. Slow tech is how we're going back to it. Yeah.
Slow tech.
Yeah.
Local tech.
Local tech.
Yep. Farm grown. Alan
Organic.
Malfitano, he's down on the farm. Look at that. Look at his shelf. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You got everything, man. What's your favorite tchotchke there? What's the baseball? Is that a signed baseball?
That's Smarter Every Day.
Oh, cool.
This is my favorite tchotchke. There.
That's my favorite too. I got one of those.
There you go.
Lovely guy named Joe in Hawaii makes those. He's so cool. I have a bunch of those over here. They're off camera. You can't see them. They're good. I'm going to give you this, though. I want to get Joe to make this.
Uh-oh.
Little badge. Yeah,
works
he
on
made
my
this
what?
for me, too, just like you.
Yeah.
Joe Knoll. He lives in Hawaii. But I want Joel to turn this into a wooden coaster. Works on my machine. Every IT guy should have that just on their forehead.
Is that particular one 3D printed? It looks.
It's what's weird is it's Velcro, so it's like I don't know what it's. Is it a patch? I should put it on my coat.
Yeah, I guess.
Works on my machine. Jeff Atwood gave me that. The coding horror guy, Fabric Stack Exchange. I love that. I want to get one of that. All right, we'll have more in just. Oh, and I forgot to say, and Larry Maggot is also here, the other old guy. When are you going for your surgery?
Friday.
Oh,
wish me well.
I hope. It's a simple outpatient procedure, right?
It's an outpatient procedure. The doctor is not nervous at all. I am.
Oh, good.
He's
it's arthroscopic. They just put a little hole in.
Oh no, not when you're transplanting. Not when you're grafting a tendon.
Where are they getting the tendon from?
Either from my big toe or the side of my foot. It depends.
That's
not going to decide that till he opens it up.
When they have to open one side to put it in the other side.
Yeah, and I should have treated it. I didn't. Hey kids, if you have a sore foot and you go to the doctor, ask him to check your tendon. Don't assume it's a sprain, and don't walk 100 miles with a.
So you actually made it worse.
Oh, much worse. I walked all over New York, Washington, Toronto, Montreal. Miles.
Getting old's a bitch.
Minor little pain. The thing about nobody took it seriously because I wasn't in horrible pain.
Don't get old, kids. Actually,
get old. It's the alternative. It's not that great.
Right. It's better to get old. Get old.
Yeah, get old.
But
stay healthy as much as you can.
I
was thinking. I'm walking, thinking that's good for walking's good for you.
Walking's good for you.
I thought, okay,
old people are supposed to walk.
Yeah, you're supposed to walk. So
my mom passed away a couple of weeks ago.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's fine. She was 93. She had not a pain in her life. She felt great. She just went to sleep one morning. She got up, got showered, took a little nap, never got up. And that's perfect. That's what I want. 93, not a pain, not a care in the world. She was a wonderful woman, very happy. But now this is what happens, Larry. People start dying around you.
Well, we talked a lot about John Dvorak, and I'm not that much younger than John at all.
Yeah.
And I thought about it. I mean, I'm sad for him, but I'm also aware that
we're all, every day I asked my AI, I said, what should I do about this? It said, just live every day. And the AI is never wrong. Our show today
no response to that one.
Our show today brought to you by, I don't know how the AI knew. It just said, you know what, Leo, don't try to leave a legacy. Don't try to write some big story in the sky. Just be honest and truthful and live every day as if it's your last. I thought that's probably pretty good advice. This Week at Tech brought to you today by Gusto. That's a good name for a company. Gusto. That's the good stuff. Right now, everyone in business, and this is true of us, is trying to run leaner, right? Tighter budgets, smaller teams, higher expectations. The last thing you have time to waste on, if you're a small business or any kind of business, manual payroll. I used to do that. Or chasing down an HR form. That's why you want Gusto. Gusto is how small business owners get time back when every hour counts. And if you run a small business, your time is limited. You need Gusto. Gusto is online payroll and benefits software built for small businesses. It's all in one. It's remote friendly. It's incredibly easy to use, so you can pay, hire, onboard, and support your team from anywhere. This is perfect for us because we are fully remote. But Gusto works great. Automatic payroll, tax filing, simple direct deposits, health benefits, commuter benefits, workers' comp, 401k, you name it. Gusto makes it simple and has options for nearly every budget. Unlimited payroll runs for one monthly price. That's wonderful. No hidden fees, no surprises. You save time with built-in automated tools like offer letters, onboarding docs, direct deposit, and more. Takes all the busy work out. You get direct access to certified HR experts to help support you through any tough HR situation. You're never on your own. It's quick, it's simple. You can switch to Gusto so easily. Just transfer your existing data to get up and running fast. And here's the cool thing. You can do that now, but you will not pay a cent until you run your first payroll. Gusto, ranked number 1 on G2's highest satisfaction products list for 2026, trusted by over 400,000 small businesses. Man, I wish we'd had Gusto when I started Twit. I almost went to jail. Of course, that's how I met my wife. She was a forensic accountant. She came in to keep me from going. My accountant says, you need somebody to fix this or you're going to jail. Now, you don't have to worry. You got Gusto. Try Gusto today at gusto.com/twit and get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. That's 3 months of free payroll at gusto.com/twit. One more time, gusto.com/twit. Let's see. There's so many stories still. We only have a few minutes. Galaxy Z Fold Ultra. Are you excited about this, Devendra? Have you taken a look at the new? They had their Galaxy.
I've been on a beach for the past week, so I'm.
Oh, you didn't have to do that?
Yeah. I didn't have to deal with this.
I wonder if it's a bellwether for Apple's foldable, which we think will be coming out in a couple of months.
Well, Samsung has one now that is more like a little square, I guess. Or
yes,
like
they do, don't
shaped
they?
A little differently,
which is kind of
like
what
Pixel.
Apple's is supposed to be, right?
That's what the rumor is, and that's what like the case leaks have shown. So I am all for that if Apple moves that way. The first couple generations of foldables were so flimsy and so expensive, and now I feel like they've at least figured out how to build these things better and more.
We know Apple is getting its screens from Samsung, so I'm thinking maybe this is kind of a way to see kind of maybe what Apple's going to look like. I don't know. It's very thin.
Yeah.
And the crease is better. Apple's been very worried about the crease. One of the reasons Apple didn't do a folding phone is the crease.
Apple would not live with, producing something that had that crease. So
right.
I think that's a major reason.
Well, the price, $2,099 to start. And I bet you Apple's phone is going to be in that price range.
Yeah.
Half of that's DRAM.
Given how much they've already jumped up prices, and the rumor is we're not going to see a base level iPhone 18 this year either. That may wait till next year.
Right.
Maybe around 2000 for sure. I could see them going even higher because it's Apple, right? Like a $2,500 smartphone. Who's going to be the first to do it with a base price?
And I'm going to have to buy it because
you have to.
I have to. I don't want to. I do have the Z Fold 7, and it's really thin. It's really nice. It's beautiful. But
Android.
Yeah. Android.
I like Android.
I like graphene. Have you tried? I put graphene on my Pixel, and I was really impressed. Now, here's something to be aware of. Graphene has this pin number that you can put on it that will erase the phone. So if you are being stopped by law enforcement and you don't want them to take your phone, you can, and they say, well, just unlock this for us. No, unlock it for us or you're going to airport jail. Okay. And you say, here's my PIN, 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's that special PIN. It will erase it. Except maybe you don't want to do that. There's a guy
backed up, hopefully.
Huh?
It might be backed up.
Well, yeah, no. The whole idea is that you have, at home or somewhere, you have a backup.
Yeah.
There's a guy named Sam Tunick who was a big protester about Cop City, which is was this in Atlanta? I think it was. This is your neck of the woods, Devendra.
Yep.
The training center in Atlanta, known as Cop City. He was trying to get in the United States. He had graphene on his phone, which is a really nice privacy-forward operating system. In January, he was stopped at the border coming back at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport after vacationing in the Dominican Republic. He was already on a watch list merely because he was protesting Cop City. But he was on a terrorism watch list. So Border Patrol said, give me your phone. Unlock it. He gave them that special PIN. An agent took him to a room with a table, several chairs, and a camera and microphone. Several agents began a, quote, secondary inspection. They pretended they were looking for child sexual abuse material, but it was because he was a protest. He was a terrorist.
He would have been better off not even giving like any PIN. Right, because they can't.
He would have, because now
break pins, right?
He's in trouble for destroying evidence.
Well, he didn't do it.
Well, that's what we're going to find out.
Yeah, they typed it in.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're going to find out because he is now being prosecuted by the Department of Justice for destroying evidence. This will be the first time the law has been aimed at an operating system on Pixel phones. It's very interesting. Graphene says, well, you don't have to use that. We have other ways of graphene is secure. It's going to be hard for them to get the information out of your phone. But if you unlock it, I think, there's lots of stuff on graphene. You can have deniable, storage and so forth.
Isn't the general advice, though, is that cops can basically push you to use biometrics to unlock your phone, but they can't do the PIN pad. At least that's what I've heard.
Because it's in your brain. Well, some courts have said that, but not all courts. And I don't think there is a universal doctrine on this.
Gotcha.
So they convinced him to give them a passcode. The screen went blank, flashed several times. The phone appeared to restart. And now they're saying you destroyed the evidence and you're going to jail, not because of what we found in your phone, but because of what you did. So just a word of warning. If you're planning on doing that, I'm going to bring, we're going to Black Hat, Alan. Are you going to be a Black Hat this year?
I don't usually, I should have went a bunch in the past, but I ended up not back when I was in the Navy. But now I don't have a reason to go anymore.
Right. Should I be nervous? Lisa's all worried because we're going to do Security Now there and Windows Weekly.
Don't bring your agents there, Leo.
Be careful what you bring.
Well, what should I? An iPhone's all right, right?
If you say so.
So some people have said turn off your Bluetooth. Don't use Bluetooth. Don't use Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
I would say cell phone network only, but that's not safe either at Black Hat.
No, because they put stingrays everywhere that look like real cell towers, but they're not.
Right. Yep.
They're man-in-the-middle attacks. So don't bring my phone at all.
Well, you could bring stuff. Just don't bring anything with information on it that you don't want someone else to see.
Bring my graphene
You have
OS.
multiple devices, right, Leo? Like bring a non-primary device without.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
All right, that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
I don't know
with a clean install.
Yes.
And not signed into anything.
Certainly, but I got to talk to my agents. I can't leave these guys alone. Well, who knows what they're going to do?
Open them up to a vector at Black Hat. Awesome.
Yeah, there you go. That's what you want. Someone from Black Hat.
I did a security audit yesterday. And they said, you don't have a password on this. If somebody got in your network, they could wreak havoc. I said, oh yeah, nobody's gonna get in my network. They said, you don't have a password on it. They made me put a password on it.
On what? The phone?
On my agent.
No, on his network.
Oh my god.
Well, my network
agents are unpassworded?
Yeah.
Leo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Last thing I'll say. Okay, show of hands. How many of you love the cookie banner?
The what?
The thing when you go to a website, it says we use cookies. Okay, opt out, opt in.
No,
how many
I hate
of you
that.
love that?
That's the most annoying thing ever.
But it's also I like what it represents, even though it's a bad implementation of what it represents.
Yeah, it's a bad implementation is the problem.
Yes.
Yeah. Cookies aren't. Come on, third-party tracking cookies, okay, but every website uses cookies, which means every website has to put up a banner.
Yeah.
Right.
Our banner if you go to twit.tv, our banner says, yeah, we use cookies. What about it? The only thing you click is okay.
It was a simpler time when we worried about cookies and not about what the AI agents can do to our data.
You can fingerprint a browser. You don't need cookies. Cookies are old school, man. Anyway, the EU is finally thinking of doing something, putting a setting in the browser that you set and you'll never see another cookie banner. The tracking industry is pushing back. And so far, they've been successful. So I'm pushing everybody to this site, Kill the Cookie Banner, because it's not just the EU, right? It's killthecookiebanner.eu, but it's not just the EU because it's a GDPR rule. No, actually, it predates GDPR because it's a rule in the EU. Every website in the world has it, including ours, because I don't want to say, well, if you're in the EU, you can't visit our website. So we put up a cookie banner.
Right.
Killthecookiebanner.eu. Take action. Sign the petition. Cookie banners bad. There's a better way, and I would love it if I didn't have to click a cookie banner. You know what? You can use uBlock Origin and just it's one of the annoyances you can turn off. No more cookie banners. All right, that was my plug. That is it. You guys have survived the marathon known as Twit. John C. He would have said, get on with it a long time ago.
R.I.P.
Salute. R.I.P. Everybody pour one out for John.
We would have lost him during the third break.
Yeah. He'd be off stealing mugs.
Yeah, stealing mugs.
Yeah, your $5,000 bottle of brandy or whatever.
Got any wine
That's
here?
true. Yeah.
Here's the wine.
Yeah.
We'll miss you, John. I sure missed having him on the show. He was always great. Devendra Hardawar, I am so glad you're still around. Keep up the good work. You are the best. For a long, long time to come. Senior editor at Engadget. Anything you want to plug?
Sure. I mean, if you like me talking about movies, check out the Filmcast at thefilmcast.com. We just reviewed The Odyssey, and we're going to be reviewing the Avatar movie that just came out. Avatar.
There's another Avatar movie?
Well,
when is he going to stop?
The Last Airbender show. So The Last Airbender show is now producing new stuff after The Legend of Korra. So Avatar Aang, The Last Airbender, is the new movie, just hit Paramount Plus. They have a new series coming in fall as well, and I think this is one of the best series for kids, best animated series ever made. So check out the movie, check out Avatar: The Last Airbender for sure.
We saw the back rooms in Petaluma where the director's from, and he was there. Zach was there.
That's cool.
What a great story. I mean, it's not a great movie. It's okay, but it's a great story. The guy, started it on YouTube. It's done very well. And what is he, 22? And he's a Hollywood film director. They gave him a $10 million budget. It's
Kane
amazing.
Parsons is his name.
Yeah.
But he was tapped by A24 when he was like 16, 17.
Yeah. Because they said, the kids today.
The kids. A
lot of good. Boy, I haven't seen Obsession yet. I just saw
Obsession is incredible.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Very good. Yeah.
I just saw Disclosure Day. It's a Spielberg, right?
That was more fun in the theater. I think if you watch Disclosure Day at home, you see how it's like kind of a mess, but it was fun.
I enjoyed it. It was fun.
It just kind of showed though how detached Spielberg is from how the world works today.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a Spielberg. There's bright lights and there's a lone guy and nobody
it's a great
believes.
chase scene in that movie.
There is an amazing
chase
scene in that movie with invisible fire trucks. I love it. I'm not going to spoil it. Anything great coming out in the next few months that we should be looking for besides The Odyssey?
Summer's ending. I mean, Ridley Scott has a new movie that's coming out that I've heard very little about. That's like kind of like a post-apocalyptic thing. So that'll be interesting. But I was super excited for Avatar Aang, and I just saw it this morning with my daughter, and it's incredible. So check it out if you like The Last Airbender.
Okay. Thank you, Devendra. Thefilmcast.com. There it is, 603 episodes.
Since 2008.
And there's going to be more because the movies never stop. And I love Jeff Canada. Give him my best, by the way.
Oh, I will.
Yeah. Thank you, Alan Malventano. So great to see you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry I missed you guys when you were in town. Shoot. I saw your email too late, but at least we got you on the show. Next time you're in the Bay Area, come up and say hello.
When was I? When was that? When was I in town?
I feel I was like recently. Maybe I'm wrong. Weren't you in Sonoma County or somewhere? Was that you? Maybe it wasn't you.
No, I don't think it was me.
Oh, was somebody posing as you? Maybe.
Oh no,
his agent.
Maybe it was. I was being catfished.
AI. It was one of your AIs. Yeah, there's catfish.
I was being catfished.
Yeah.
You and your wife weren't in the Sonoma area?
I don't think recently.
Maybe it was a really old email. I don't.
It was probably
I'm not
a really
good
old
with
email.
Yeah, I know that, Leo. I've learned that with you. I don't send you emails.
Yeah. No, it might have been like a year or two ago.
Text me. A year or two ago. No.
Text you? No, now I got to look at my
your
text.
Phone number.
No, I got
to get through the agents.
I got Leo's number. Listen, I used to work at the NSA. I got Leo's number.
You probably can find it. Great to see you, Alan. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Thanks for everything you do. Good luck with the hard drive thing. I'm sure they're going to really take off someday.
I mean, we're making them as fast as we can make them. That's all I can tell you.
It must be nice. And of course, Larry Magid, good luck with the surgery. It is great to see you. Thanks for all you do. ConnectSafely.org. Everybody should go there. There's stuff for young people. There's stuff for old people.
Yeah.
You actually have a guide to Uber senior accounts.
Seniors, guide to Uber,
Yeah.
And we have an article on there that I wrote about how we need to regulate social media, but not ban it from kids. We don't want to keep kids off it. We want social media to be fixed so kids can go on it safely.
Yes.
Nice.
I agree. It's too bad it's run by people like Mark Zuckerberg, who really don't have children's interests at heart. But at the same time, why are countries banning YouTube? There's so much useful stuff there. There's so much it could be. Anyway.
Leo,
Yes.
it'll be August 5th of 2025.
Oh, well, I'm sorry I missed you last year.
That was yesterday.
Really? It was last year?
You should have asked the
You were
agent,
having
Leo.
a contractor battle and you were busy. I was going to take you out to dinner.
Well, guess what? There's still
It's still happening.
There's scaffolding out here. They didn't put scaffolding there yet. We've had, oh Lord, it's been going on for 2 years.
Oh my goodness.
So when you come out in 2028, maybe we can talk.
Yeah, maybe it'll be done.
It's a nonstop. Lisa says, I am so sick of this house. She said, just once, I'd like to be able to get out of bed and there's nobody looking in the window. Just once. Thank you, Larry, Alan. Thank you, Devendra. Great to see all three of you. Thanks to all of you for joining us. We do Twit on Sundays, 2 to 5 Pacific, 5 to 8 Eastern, 2100 UTC. You can watch us live if you wish in the Club Twit Discord. If you're not a member of Club Twit, look into it because there's a lot of great benefits. Ad-free versions of all the shows. Chapter markers so you can skip the AI crap if you want. Just jump right by it. You also get special shows like our AI user group if you want more AI. We now twice a month. We also have the Stacy's Book Club, Micah's Media Club. We have the Photo Club. We have travel. We have so much great stuff in the club. $10 a month. It supports what we do, and it's a big part of our operating expenses. We really need it, and it makes a big difference. So if you support independent podcasting, if you believe in it, please help us out. twit.tv/clubtwit. But you don't have to be a member to watch live. We also stream to everybody, and there are people watching on YouTube, Twitch, X.com, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Kick right now. 727 of them. Hello to all of you. It's good to have you here. After the fact, though, you can watch whenever you feel like it. You can go to our website, twit.tv, download a show there, or get links to the RSS feed, or the link to the YouTube channel. There's a dedicated YouTube channel. We do audio and video of every show. If you subscribe in your favorite podcast client, audio or video, you'll get it automatically. You don't have to think about it. You can have it for next time you're on a submarine. There's something about these shows. People just... So Alan loads them up on his... You probably was an iPod back in the day, right?
No, it was a Dell Axum.
Oh, I remember the Axum. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Very early media player. It's funny.
Yep.
Steve Martin told me that he used to listen to the radio show. He was up in Vancouver, Washington, doing it was called The Big Year. It was a show about birding. And he said, we're in the middle of nowhere. I got nothing to do. So he did the same thing. This show's great for lonely people stuck in the wilderness or under the water.
I was a superhero on the submarine. I had a Dell Axum loaded with an offline copy of Wikipedia.
Ooh.
On a 5 gigabyte IBM micro drive.
Sure.
I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's
and
huge. Back in the day.
I basically had the internet on the submarine. I was like the only guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very
impressive.
impressive.
It was good times. Yeah. I was
Guys,
watching. I was
say goodbye.
Oh, he's leaving.
Oh, bye, Larry. Go take care of your ankle.
Bye, Larry.
I'm good. I got to rest my ankle. Take care, guys.
Go rest your ankle,
Yeah.
sir.
Nice-
Well,
nice to meet
we got to close the show anyway. So like,
Yeah, we're done.
yeah.
Have a wonderful, wonderful life, everybody. We'll see you soon. Okay, maybe next Sunday.
Like we're all going away forever. Like,
I don't know. Everybody's dying around me. I don't know if I'll ever see you again. I don't know.
Take care, guys. Good show.
I might die. Who knows? Anyway,
No,
great show.
you'll be
Take
around for a
care.
while.
Another Twit is in the can. Bye-bye.